Current Agenda is brought to you by Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. And National Petroleum Authority, NPA, where customer care meets excellence.
Well, good morning. It's another fully loaded program. So sit tight as we try to digest issues from the US down to here, Accra, Ghana. This is Current Agenda, perfect for starting your Saturday. Let's enjoy this time together. Will former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta soon return to Ghana to face policy or possible prosecution? As Attorney General and the Minister for Justice, Dominic Ayine, suggests that the United States Department of Justice is actively engaging Ghana over an extradition request. According to Attorney General, he has been keeping tabs on Mr. Ofori-Atta's immigration case and getting confidential updates. The former finance minister appeared before a Virginia court this week after his visa got revoked by the U.S. attorneys. They cited an alleged extradition request from Ghana. Meanwhile, the Arise Ghana protest at the U.S. Embassy in Accra is playing a double-edged sword game. On one hand, it shows public demand for accountability. But on the other, there's U.S. immigration case. Also, all 5 presidential aspirants of the new Patriotic Party have signed a peace pact ahead of the party's presidential primaries scheduled for January 31, 2026. The pact is intended to ensure a peaceful, transparent, and credible internal electoral process. However, the signing was almost derailed when Kennedy Japan objected to a clause he claims was previously agreed upon by aspirants but omitted from the final document, raising fresh questions about trust, transparency, and internal party democracy. And finally, a task force of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union has busted 27 commercial drivers and conductors, what we know as mates, across Ghana for ripping off passengers. The arrests, carried out at major terminals, including the Pokuase Terminal, Odoko, Ablekuma, and Kingsway, come amid growing commuter complaints following transport disruptions and persistent shortages. With long queues during rush hours and allegations of route splitting to increase fares, the question still remains: who is watching out for the commuters? These are the issues on the table this morning. And on Current Agenda, as you know it, my panel and I will truly and objectively digest and make justice to these ones. As usual, we are proudly sponsored by Bank of Africa and NPA. Bank of Africa says that it's a new year and it's a new you. Reimagine, evolve, and be intentional. Allow Bank of Africa carry the burden of keeping your money safe and secure while you focus on achieving your goals. Join Bank of Africa today. Unwrap a thoughtful selection of exciting products and services, including BOA Web, Visa USD debit and credit cards, amidst other SME and personal loan products. A full gift of financial solutions curated with you in mind. Visit any Bank of Africa branch, or you can call them on 0302 429 333 or 0302 429 690. You can also visit their website www.boaghana.com and chat with Fafa. And you can make all your inquiries and even do your onboarding on their website. Remember, Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. MPA says that if you suspect that you do not get the right amount of fuel, especially now that fuel prices have dropped, if you are not sure that you got the right amount of fuel, if you have issues about the quality of fuel that you bought, or if you experience bad customer service at any fuel station, don't stress. Don't waste energy fighting or arguing with them. The National Petroleum Authority is here to assist you. Reach out to them on their toll-free number 0302 550 380, or feel free to walk into any of their branches. Their head office branch is located along the N1 highway in Jowulu, or any of the regional offices as mentioned earlier, and make your complaint or inquiry. If you experience any of the issues I mentioned earlier, poor quality service, poor quality fuel, or if you think that you've gotten less than what you paid for, you have 48 hours, up to 48 hours to make a report. NPA, where customer care meets excellence. We'll be right back after this break.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa, we are indeed the bank with.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. As usual, I will do my reflections this morning. I would want to continue from where I left off last week. So still talking about the transport situation, our public transport situation. I'm doing it from my perspective, what I believe are the issues and how I think as a people we should go about it. We've gathered ideas also from people, viewers and listeners, and so we've tried to shape the discussion to be a bit reflective of what everyone is saying. And so last week I drew the attention to the daily struggle of commuters trying to access public transport across our cities and towns. That struggle has not eased. In fact, if not anything at all, it has become more painful, more deliberate, and more exploitative. The conditions on our road has become more and more worrisome. Ghana's transport scene is a real mess. Over 70% rely on informal rides simply because it's a free-for-all activity. Trotros, taxis, Okada, the motor tricycles, they rule the roads that we have now. Not because they are efficient, no, but simply because they are there. And they are kind of cheap, so everybody seems to want to go with these ones. But the thing is, they are basically running wild and now answering to union leadership rather than the law and regulations in this country. And not even passengers. We've been made to understand that customers are kin, but in the public transport system, if you're a customer, you are more of a slave than the king, because customers do not have a say. And customers here are passengers, commuters. We are paying a price for the chaos. We are paying a price for the insecurity. And we are paying a price, for the exploitation on a daily basis. The transport game in Ghana has changed. It is now not even for the better, and it's as if now they are waging a war on passengers. You can see on the screen endless queues. These queues are longer than football fans queuing at a stadium to watch a derby game in Accra. Endless queue. Fake shortages of cars or buses, and the arbitrary fee increases have become a routine thing in this country. A journey from KWAME Nkrumah Circle to Kaswa officially should cost about 10 Ghana cedis. But now it costs close to 20 cedis. Why? Because deliberately they decide to break the routes into pieces. So you pick from Circle, get to Kaneshi, they charge you. Pick from Kaneshi, they drop everybody off. They ask everybody to alight. Then they start shouting, Odoko, Odoko, Odoko. You sit in, it gets to Odoko, you get down. They start going again. Malam Junction, you sit in, you get down. They call Barrier SEC, you sit in, you get down. Then they get to Kaswa. So just one journey, first stop, Kaneshi, Barrier SEC, Kaswa, 5 stops. And each of these comes with a different fare. So by the time you get to your destination, you've paid either 20 cedis or in excess of it. Let's be clear. Nobody should hide behind market force where there is demand and supply. This has got nothing to do with demand and supply. Nobody should tell us anything about economics in here. This is basically an issue of organized extortion. And it is thriving simply because regulation has been weak and enforcement has been inconsistent. Weak and inconsistent. For a fare that costs 10 cedis to be split to go up 20 cedis and above, that is not market forces. This isn't market force. It is organized exploitation. And that is what we need to call it. And we are calling it what it is today. Forget about market forces and call it organized extortion. Because the rules aren't being enforced. The Ghana Private Road Transport Union, the GPRTU, well, this week, we got some good news that they are finally cracking down on rogue drivers. Those we call floating drivers who are not registered to any particular union or any particular loading bay or station. And one day we'll talk about what we have in here that we call stations and loading bays. How disgusting and distasteful it is to even walk in there as human beings that we have integrity and credibility, to walk there to even board vehicles. We'll talk about it in a later episode. But this week, the GPRTU task force arrested 27 commercial bus drivers and conductors across Accra for charging unapproved fares. And so for this, I clap for the GPRTU. The sweep covered major terminals and hotspots, including Pokwase, Odoko, Ablekuma, and Kingsway. According to the National Guard commander of the GPRTU, Drummond Eko Gacy, he says that 26 suspects were arrested and handed over to the MTTD of the Ghana Police Service, with 21 still in custody after initial screening. The task force employed suspects. They decided to board vehicles in plain clothes to verify compliance with approved fares. Many of those caught were what I mentioned earlier to be floating drivers. They operate solo, they have no disregard for anybody, they don't report to anybody, and they do what they want to do. They have no union oversight, and they go beyond the established controls and procedures. According to the union, this enforcement was carried out under their constitution and in some way under the allies governing the roads and transport business or movement in this country. But this sent an important message. Fair lawlessness would no longer be tolerated. And I'm happy the GPRTU has sent the right signal. But enforcement alone is not enough. See how fuel prices have seen reduction in recent weeks. In logic and in fairness, everybody expects that the transport fares to reflect this reality. But no, the argument has now shifted from fuel now to spare parts. Despite the assurance by the Spare Parts Association that prices have reduced, drivers and union leaders indicate and insist that nothing has changed. So even though fuel prices have dropped drastically, the prices still remain the same. How can you reduce fuel prices at pumps and maintain inflated fares on the road? And any refusal to adjust fares downwards is nothing short of profiteering. And it's a typical Ghanaian attitude. I don't know where we learned this from, but it's become the norm now. Everybody sees a certain period to be what we call cocoa season. You see people choose on their own to make amazing profits at a time when people or prices have gone down that they're supposed to reflect for consumers to benefit. More importantly, this movement exposes a deeper problem. Public transport is too important to be left entirely, and I stress on the point, entirely in private hands. We are not saying that private hands should not be involved in public transport. They should. But leaving it entirely in the hands of private individuals is a problem. Government must step in, not merely as a regulator, but step in as an active participant. After all, government steps in to compete with businesses in borrowing from banks. So if even with banks, government is competing in borrowing from banks, if they compete in the treasury bill in borrowing from banks, then why are we struggling to compete actively in the public transport system so that the people or the nationals, the people in the country, can benefit from same? So that it will not be one-sided, left-sided, where private individuals determine and dictate how this is done. It is no longer an option. It is a must. It is essential. Until government treats public transport as a public good, commuters will remain vulnerable, exploited, and unheard. And that, quite frankly, is unacceptable. This morning, I am making a passionate appeal to the powers that be, to the president, to the Ministry of Road and Transport. And I made this case last week, that if possible, can we have a national transport authority where you have both metro, all those ones under one umbrella? Not to have STC sitting at one side, having Intercity sitting at another side, Metro Mass sitting, no. Can we have all of them under one umbrella, governed by one authority under one regulation? It improves on maintenance attitude, improves on customer service, improves on accountability, improves on cost efficiency, improves of operational or the operational and capital expenditure. It improves on a lot of things. If we can have that, it will properly structure our services so that under one umbrella, we can regulate transport services in this country. Let's give it a thought if it is a wise decision. This has been Reflections this morning. I'll ask that we continue on discussing this and keep your thoughts coming. You can send it to us on our WhatsApp platforms, on our social media pages. Let's have this discussion. I want to hear from you what you are going through on a daily basis on the road. During rush hour when you close from work, how long do you stay in a queue just to get even that split commuting? Let's keep the discussions ongoing. It's sad, especially when you even have to stand in this queue throughout the night. Imagine going to work in the morning, queuing for an hour to sit in a car, only to be asked to drop off or pay another fare to continue. You get to work, you close, you come through the same process, and yet your salary is even not increasing at that same rate. This is the reality. This is what we go through as citizens. We do not have the luxury of sirens on our cars on the road. What we have are these rickety vehicles that out of desperation, we have to sit in and endure as human beings with dignity. Cars that ordinarily are supposed to carry cargo. It's what we have welded seats fixed in there with sharp edges, cutting us every day. And yet, we are still being treated as third-class citizens in our own country. I'll be right back after this break. Well, welcome back. Current Agenda proudly sponsored by Bank of Africa and the NPA. We are live on our social media handles on GTV and Ghana Broadcasting on Facebook and on YouTube. You can also listen to us on Radio Ghana across the country. So please keep your views and your comments coming. We'll be sharing it during the course of the program. Well, I've been joined in the studio by my panel. To my immediate left, I have with me Nelson Nobo Amedowonu, Esquire. I hope I pronounced the surname right.
That is right.
Right. He's a member of the NDC legal team. Lawyer, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, okay, counsel, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're good.
I'm good.
Right, welcome to the set. I think this is your first for this set.
This is my second time.
For this set?
Yes.
Oh, okay, really?
Yes.
Forgive me. Then next to him is Austin KWABENA BRAKO-POWERS. He's also a legal practitioner, and he's here in his personal capacity or private capacity. He's a known face to this set. So, Austin, good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to the viewers.
Right. We would also be joined later by KWAME, OWUSU, DANSO, and ENOCH, AFOAKWAH. So, as and when they come in, we would introduce them to you. And we would also be joined online by Dr. ABDUL-JALILU. He's also a political scientist and a lecturer at the University of Ghana. So once they join, we would introduce them to you. So Nelson, I'll start with you on this transport issue. I mean, if you are in Ghana, even if you drive your own car, you will not be spared of this scene when you are driving along our roads, especially since December. What do you think is really causing this? Because we are getting too many reasons why nobody is able to tell us what exactly is causing the long queues that we're experiencing lately.
Thank you. From the news lately, one can realize that the cause of this public transport shortage, if I may say, is due to the fact that government over the years has neglected, especially the NPP government, has neglected the transport sector. More so,
you started the politics very early.
No. I wish. I'm not doing politics this morning at all.
Please
see, one can see how they dispose of the metro mass buses as scrap. For 2,500, they've disposed of more than hundreds of trucks, which, if those trucks were to be on the road today, I'm not sure we'll be seeing what we are seeing on the road today. But that brings us to the reason why this government came in with the big push agenda, to make sure that such things will be things of the past. Because this same government that brought in the BRT-JALIlu buses. But before we came into power, one will realize that all the buses are packed. The buses were in good condition. They were, you will not even see them on the road. During the 8 years of administration of the NPP, one will not even see them on the road. But today, we are being told that what all the buses are being were sold as scrap. And this can only be collusion. So for me, this shortage of buses really revealed the exact mess that the NPP caused during the 8 years administration. And we should not joke with our public transport, more so that we don't have much reliable railway sector that we can rely on as an alternative. So the public transport sector is one that we should all try to push and help the government to succeed in the big push agenda. More so if you're able to connect all the roads. Once we're able to connect all the roads, then we can, the government can invest in the, reinvest into the metro mass and the BRT-JALIlu. Because you can see that the road network as in 2016, as of 2016, is not the same road network as of today. You take from Accra to Kaswa, Accra to Amasaman, all the roads are messed up. So we have to fix the road first, which is what the government is doing now, to make sure that we fix the road first before we can get the buses on the road. So we can only talk little about this, but the evidence of the inaction of the previous government is what we are seeing today.
Okay, so let's backtrack to what you said. Now you're saying that the roads are messed up. This problem we are having are more intra-city. Are we saying that the roads in Accra, the road from Circle to Kaswa is messed up? Because I use that road. I see the state of the road. I can tell you the exact places that there are potholes. I can close my eyes and tell you where there are potholes. But about 90% of that road is in good shape. So why is road mess up being the reason why intra-city is suffering? If you are saying intercity, between connecting two cities or two regions, I can agree with you. On the Eastern Corridor, I can agree with you. But within, I mean, transition from Kaneshi to DANSO.
Okay. You see, the trotro driver you see today, if you see a trotro driver commute from Circle to Kaswa, that does not mean that the driver will come back to Circle, loading people from Kaswa to Circle. He may decide to leave Kaswa to maybe Amasaman.
Okay.
So that brings us into how the roads are connected.
Okay.
So you don't see only the road leading from Circle to Kaswa to conclude that that driver is doing something bad. Although what the drivers are doing is bad, but what I'm saying is that that reveals exactly what the mess MPP has caused during the last 8 years, which should not be countenanced at all.
Okay, so like I said, because you've gone this route and you keep mentioning the previous government, so that's a bit I would want to understand. Now we were made to understand, unless you are telling us that it was not true what was said, that a lot of the inner city roads were, for want of a better term, were properly fit. They were they worked on. I mean, we talk about the drip machines and all those things. So that's what I'm struggling to understand why we are linking this issue with the road network in Accra. I'm struggling.
Okay. If you talk about the drip machines don't fix asphalt on the road. They only elevate a muddy road or
roads that were improved. There were a lot of inner city roads that were constructed. So, okay, which roads in Accra are we saying that were abandoned, and it's as a result of that we are experiencing these issues with the transportation sector? If you have any example.
One can mention all the 4 roads from Accra, all the 4 major roads from Accra Central to Nungwa, Accra Central to Amasaman, Accra Central to Winneba. They are all in a mess, which is what the government is fixing now. 24/7, the government is fixing that road. When you go on that road today, even at 12 midnight, you see people working on the road around the clock to make sure that the problem is fixed. So
in your opinion, the problem we are going through, majority or the major reason is our road nature, or the nature of our road, which according to you is as a result of the shoddy work that was done in the previous administration.
That is so. The shoddy work and the neglect to fix as and when it's due.
Okay, right. Powers, do you agree with him? I mean, even though it's his opinion, but
no, but
do you share contrary views?
I think if there are any 2 major areas that previous government and our government since 1992, all the government have failed to do is to fix the issue of housing. The last time you touch on the rent issue.
Yes.
Housing and transportation. These are the 2 major areas that government over the years have failed to work on.
And funny enough, those are our physiological needs.
Exactly. These are areas, 2 key areas that, in fact, impact the lives of Ghanaians daily. Now, KOJO, it is scary looking at the way the transport sector is going. And I tend to agree with you because, in fact, I agree that it is about time we streamline the transport industry. But I ask myself, under what authority is GPRTU arresting people? GPRTU is a private association. Under what authority? It's not a statutory and has no law enforcement.
Citizen arrest.
Citizen arrest, yes. Unless an individual of GPRTU. Don't forget, citizen arrest, unless an individual of GPRTU does the arrest, then it can be taken under that purview. But GPRTU is a private association. And the gentleman, Gacy, that you quoted,
yes,
you mentioned, he was saying that they arrested them under LI 2180.
Yes.
Which has to do with the road traffic regulation.
Regulation, yes.
And he is saying that it provides that a driver must belong to an association. Is it one's membership of an association a prerequisite to be a commercial driver in this country? It cannot be. It cannot be, because the Constitution is clear on this. You must not put restrictions or obstacles in the part of ordinary Ghanaians from making ends meet or from achieving economic empowerment.
Right.
So I do not understand them. If you want to enforce your own association's rules, that is fair and square. And at the moment, KOJO, you cannot arrest anybody for charging any amount, which you describe as exorbitant. And what authority do you describe as exorbitant? There must be a legislation. There must be a legal framework, the basis of which you can compare. At the moment, there isn't. So when you say you have arrested a driver or drivers, this number of drivers, for charging more than the approved fare, who approved it? They don't belong to GPRTU. Because per what he's saying, some of them don't belong to the GPRTU. So if they do not belong to the GPRTU, clearly they are not under your fair charge or your fair pricing.
Fair point.
You get it? I think we must be able to understand and stop this, the way we do things as if we have power, we have, the way we arrogate authorities onto our hands. We have laws in this country. And the GPRTU is an association. They must operate and organize themselves as an association. They do not have a law enforcement authority or power. And I agree. I think that we just have to bear in mind that in as much as you cannot arrest a tomato seller for charging maybe for a bowl of tomatoes, selling a bowl of tomatoes for maybe 20 cedis, another selling it for 50 cedis. You cannot charge the one selling it for 50 cedis because there's no pricing window. There's no a level of pricing. There's no consistent level of pricing. Which is why I agree with your suggestion that it is about time we enact a legislation to bring into existence a national transport authority, which I agree with you. We need to streamline the pricing because at the moment, don't forget the GPRTU is one of the transport associations. There's another one, Protoa.
Yes. Private road, whatever it is.
Exactly, and we have another one. So we have a string of associations. So GPRTU should not magnify itself as if it is the mouthpiece of all drivers in this country. It is an association. It must play according to its level.
Right. According
to the level that has been set statutorily. So we need a common pricing. And I agree with you. When we have a national transport authority, that body will play a key role. Because see, KOJO, in as much as I am not in support of government micromanaging key sectors of the economy, the transport and the housing are two major sectors that the government must intervene. Today, the last time you talked about the Rent Act, where some landlords are charging beyond 6 months for short stay. What has previous government done about it? The reaction of the last government, the previous government, was to set up a national, a body to provide money for those who want to rent.
Something,
yes. Is that how we solve problems? You solve problems by bringing problems. If people are having issues with rent, it's not because they do not have the money. It's because the rent being charged, the amount is significantly high, colossal. Some are taking up to 3 years, 4 years. Some will tell you, I'm taking 6 years. And if you don't have it, someone has the money and the person will do it. And KOJO, we must also drum home that repeatedly we try to start an affordable housing project for Ghanaians. But these projects are rather to the benefit of those who have the money.
Yes.
So are they affordable?
Become unaffordable.
Exactly. So if an average earner or an average Ghanaian is earning in a month, let's say 3,000. 3,000 is even high. You see, can say 3,000 is even high. If at a point I knew some people were earning 400 cedis. At the end of the month, 400 cedis. Just ask yourself, do the math. How will they survive? And how is this person going to accumulate the 400 cedis, given that he's not buying anything? Accumulate the 400 cedis to pay his or her rent. We have major issues. And I'll be happy this government will take up this challenge. Because we need a government, and President John Dramani Mahama has communicated to us that he's ready to do whatever it takes to reset the country. We want him to reset these two sectors, the housing sector and the transportation sector. Let's step in. let's forget about what the private car owners or the commercial drivers are saying, because you see, they are benefiting. If the government will not intervene for the benefit of Ghanaians, these private commercial drivers or transport owners, they are profit earners. They are there to make profit. So where there are problems, they survive and they succeed and they excel. So the government must intervene, because that is where Ghanaians struggle the most.
Right.
So, KOJO, I agree. But I think we must approach this issue with clear conscience. The GPRTU should not be pontificating, because in one hand, when fuel level prices are going down, you have not even called your members to reduce the transport fares. This year alone, we've witnessed price reduction of fuel. Twice. Last year, repeatedly, back to back. Yet, the transport fares stay the same. The GPRTU should not be pontificating that they are doing something about this. They are not. They are extorting from the citizens. And they are benefiting from the extortion of their members. Some of these people, some of these associations, we need to call them out, because they are those compounding the challenges and the problems of Ghanaians. We should not see them as rather trying to solve or ameliorate the challenges. They are not. They are benefiting from the extortion. They are benefiting from the work of their members. It is only the government that is at the receiving end. The government, people are rather chastising and blaming the government, because they feel that the government has allowed associations like GPRTU to benefit. KOJO, your suggestion, we need to have a national transport authority. Parliament must take the charge, and the president must lead, because this one, it will solve the problem for us.
Maybe I'll join you to present a private.
KOJO, we need to do that, and we need to, start some of these conversations, because it bothers on bread and butter.
True.
And if you're able to get Ghanaians, if you're able to get the level of problems Ghanaians face reduced, you will see a lot of people discharging their services to the country.
Thank you. Nelson, when Powers was speaking, he made one point which got me thinking. It's the majority of the commercial bus drivers are not the owners of the buses. Majority of them. The owners mostly are you and I. You, Powers, myself. We are the one who own the transport. So who really is refusing to reduce the fare? Is it the owners who are still keeping the same, what we call sales, that they've asked the drivers to bring? And so the drivers knowing that if I go with this same, because now fuel prices have dropped. And so if I go with this one, I can't be able to meet the sales. And so for that reason, I need to do more to be able to make that sales. Or maybe they are actually increasing the sales. Or is it the case that they have kept the sales, but the drivers also want to make more profit? And so for that reason, now the cost, because once fuel prices are dropping, your cost of operating has actually gone down. Yeah. So they want to make more profit within this period. Who really is the problem?
The problem is the executives of GPRTU and the other transport unions. Because one, they see themselves as people who are always there to fight for their members.
Okay.
And their members are the drivers and the transport owners. So if, and also they are, before you can even analyze this, you have to see what is their interest. Their interest, one, they are looking at their election, their coming election as well. The people who are going to elect them are the drivers and the transport owners. So everything they do, they try to play into their hands to make sure that they are safe with the people who elect them. So when you see that when when fuel price is going up, they will be there shouting that no, we have to increase prices. We have to increase prices. But when the fuel prices are coming down, they don't talk, because that is what will benefit their members. So they are not working for the ordinary man who takes or who bought the public transport, but they are working for the drivers. So this is where the consumer protection organizations must come in.
So that was going to be my next question to ask. So now that you've gone there, maybe you add it to your submission. are commuters and passengers not under the Consumer Protection Authority? Are they not supposed to also think about it? It's not only here about sitting on TV and radio and talking about electricity, tariffs, and the rest. Transport fares. So maybe you can add it to it as you are responding.
Yes. The consumers come under the consumer protection, but for them to be better protected, there must be a reduction sustained over time. The reduction should not be 1-2 days for them to reduce, but it should be sustained. So sometimes one may say that it's because of the reduction is happening not as a long-term measure, but it's because of the fluctuation in the exchange rate. So if they are also on the fence to see what will happen, we can give them at least on 1 or 2 weeks to see whether they will reduce. If they don't reduce, that's when the consumer protection will come in.
Okay, that's fine. Powers, again on the consumer protection angle. We are consumers. Commuters are consumers. Yeah. Passengers are consumers. So far in all this, I've not heard the consumer protection make any statement. If it was electricity tariffs, we would have seen them on warfare all over. I've not heard anything. Maybe it's me. Maybe you've heard something.
For you, it's simple. We don't have a consumer protection authority in this country.
Oh, we have an agency.
We don't even have an agency.
I thought where's KWABENA?
That's a private. That's his own NGO. You know, this has been a major challenge that people have been calling for in this country. We don't have a legislation.
Are you serious?
Yes, streamlining. He knows about it.
Okay, Kwame has spoken, so let me introduce you.
This one was a strategy.
I noticed that you were ostracizing me. So I needed to introduce myself.
Katashi.
Right. You're just using the Takashi approach. So, viewers and listeners, we have in studio with me my brother KWABENA, OWUSU, DANSO, KOD, Esquire, Honorable.
BRAKO-POWERS.
This whole year we've not met.
They are now the Okukudam account. Lawyer Okukudam.
Because right now you're a Okukudam lawyer, PhD.
Almost.
Right. This year we've not met, so
Afishapa. When I was driving here, it was one of the things that was ringing in my mind. The first thing I wanted to do was to wish you Afishapa. Right. I think we've also not met this year. No.
Afishapa.
Afishapa said, "Now why I can see it?"
Which of the can see as in body can see or
body can see and then pocket can see. Let me just apologize to the viewers. You know, so I don't know whatever reason these last days in January, the time actually runs very fast.
Yes. I think we have shorter days now. I think so.
Before I woke up at 4. So you can just imagine.
Oh, it will run out.
Before I realized it was 7, I said, "Hey, I'm dead."
Anyway, so I'll come back to you.
Yes, sir.
So Kelly, we don't have one. This has been a major issue in this country. We don't have an authority that protects consumers.
So as the whole country, we don't have anybody who ensures customer experience. Customers.
We don't have it, and that has been a problem. You know, so
it's funny. You know why I'm laughing? It's funny for a country that we pride ourselves to be hospitable, to not have such an hospitality code as a nation where we all respect.
We don't. So currently, the work is being done by the various regulatory authorities. So they do the work within their purview, the legal remit. So you have the impact that would be felt if we had an independent consumer protection authority. The bill, I know this bill has been in and out of Parliament for so many years. And we need to take some deliberate action on some of these things. The work being done by KWABENA is commendable. But to what extent? That's a private individual, that's an NGO. But if we have a legally constituted and enacted authority, it will have the backing to bite. KWABENA's organization cannot bite. And whenever they speak, those companies or organizations who may be affected will not treat it seriously as they would if we had a consumer protection authority. So
I mean, I think the only effect you would have would be the brand. Those who are so concerned about the brand
Their
because
brand-
they think the brand
exactly.
might be affected,
Exactly.
they decide to react.
Exactly.
Those who don't care would not do anything.
So clearly, KOJO, what he has been doing is advocacy. But what we need the Consumer Protection Authority, and this is a challenge to Parliament. This thing is delaying, and it is affecting Ghanaians because who is speaking for Ghanaians? And the government is careful because you see, the government is also benefiting from these companies by reason of tax and other benefits. So we need a Consumer Protection Authority to insist and defend the right of Ghanaians. Look at the ATEKUs. Today, you buy internet, you buy data, you want to surf online, then you realize that your data had run out. Under what circumstances? They could not explain. Sometimes you want to make a call, you're unable to reach the other party. Why? Because they tell you the network has a challenge. We need some of these, we need these institutions to be streamlining the conversation and to be leading the charge. So, we don't have a Consumer Protection Authority, and Ghanaians should be worried. And I think it will be one of the things I'll urge the current president to work on. Now you have super majority in Parliament. Use the numbers to bulldoze your way and get the act passed. The act does not need to be perfect. I don't understand because you see, this act, the bill had been in and out of Parliament. I don't know whether they are seeking to perfect the bill, but we don't need to have a perfect system. Let's have the first act. If there are challenges, that's why we call something amendment. Yes. You can amend the Parent Act and improve them. Let's get the Consumer Protection Authority bill passed.
Thank you. Kwame.
Yes, sir.
To what extent do you think our housing system, and Powers mentioned it briefly when he was speaking earlier, how our housing system that we currently have, to what extent do you think is affecting this transportation issues that we are having? Because you see, there are certain particular areas, because they are well demarcated and well organized, they struggle with this. In fact, they don't have a lot of these transport issues. If you listen to the areas that are having it, Pokuase, Amasama, Kaswa, and these are areas that, for want of a better expression, people are building anyhow. So to what extent do we think this is affecting this whole transport situation?
Okay,
I mean, let me add another line, especially in a country where data means nothing to us.
Yeah.
So we don't even know how many people live anywhere, know how many buses to put on which stretch.
I mean, let me greet our viewers and thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm struggling to see the correlation here. And so maybe a lot of education would be needed in relation to the intercourse between the housing and then, So I agree with you in terms of the numbers. But the reason why I'm struggling to really see the correlation is because we've not experienced this really and truly before. I think this is more like a novel situation where we are currently experiencing this phenomenon. I don't know, I stand to be corrected. Repeatedly. Yeah. So then the question then becomes why? You see, so it may not be so much about maybe the housing. Of course, I thought we were going to discuss issues with rent and housing. That one is my baby, something that I really love, and we can have that conversation later. Yes. But this issue of GPRTU and the drivers and, passenger overpricing and overcharging and what they describe as short is a phenomenon that is new, is confusing, is incomprehensible. I don't understand how this whole thing started. I'll be very candid with you. And in fact, I had not even heard of this challenge until recently when the Vice President, Her Excellency, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, visited the various sector players. That is when I got to realize that, so we are being faced with this challenge. I did not know what was happening, to be honest. Now, what I do know is that, and sometimes I heard my brother talk about consumer protection. I heard my brother talk about, you spoke eloquently about the Consumer Protection Act and things like what we need to do to ensure that consumers are protected at all material times. But the question really and truly or the answers that we are looking for, in my respectful opinion, sits with the drivers and the owners of these buses. Because it is not so much about shortage of buses. It is so much about greed, selfishness, wickedness on the part of some of these drivers. Very greedy people. You see, when you have a system where there's uncertainty in terms of the economic outlook, right? You can understand why some people have this rigid mental set about price controlling. That they want to be the ones to control the price so that they can determine when to increase and more often than not, when not to decrease. It's so much about increasing, but they don't decrease. Because in time past, KOJO, you will agree with me that when we saw price hikes in fuel, there was expedition with corresponding increment in the prices of fares.
True.
They were so excited to increase fares, charging people exorbitantly, because in their view, prices of fuel had gone up, and that had attendant consequences for their operations, and therefore they needed to increase their fares. We all sat in this country. We condemned it quite slightly, but we did not really go into the nitty-gritties of it and to query them as to what informed that parochial decision to increase fares. There must be a process that would be followed by all parties in arriving at a decision to increase fares, albeit that if you look at the kind of transportation structure that we have, because government is not so heavily government is not so heavily investing in that sector, a lot of the times you see that it's the private sector that controls the narrative, and which is why we are where we are. So I don't understand why today we have seen this monumental, significant decrease in the price of fuel, and yet they are not in a haste to reduce prices.
Is it not the case that we've played politics with it, or partisan politics with so much?
I do not want to, you see, this thing about, NDC and MP, I don't want to go there. I do not want to go there. The truth of the matter is that the same reasons that informed your decision to increase fares when the price of fuel went up, that same reason should inform your decision to reduce fares. Because it is only logical that any human being, okay, who is in business, obviously, any logical, if you're in business, you want to make profit. You want to make profit. And so, recently I took Uber. Sometimes I do that. I take Bolt, Uber, taxi, and those things just to understand firsthand what the people are going through. And I will not lie to you, KOJO. The conversation that ensued between myself and the driver pointed to one conclusion, that if John Dramani Mahama and his people will continue like this to reduce prices of fuel for us, Master, we won't come and disturb the president. Because then, when you do your cost-benefit analysis, you would notice that you've made some profit because the prices are down. Let's bear in mind that everything which is centered around consumerism and, the prices of goods and services is, finds expression in the transportation system. Everything about consumerism, everything about the prices of goods and services finds expression in the pricing of fares in this country. Or let me just, no, this is tautology. Finds expression in fares in this country.
Fact.
So that if the driver goes to Akumadan to go and bring tomatoes, how much the driver will charge the tomato seller, right, will eventually affect how much the tomato seller will sell the tomato in Makola market. So that we are saying that if the prices of fuel goes up, the corresponding economic effect would be that the driver who is going to Akomadan will increase how much he would ordinarily charge the tomato seller. So that when the tomato seller goes to Akomadan, brings the produce to come and sell at Makola market, she will also factor the transportation in the pricing of the tomato. Then the person who suffers is the end user, who is the consumer, you and I. So even though they are charging high, we are the ones who are bearing the cost. So they can't come and be sitting here and tell us that they are suffering. Because at the end of the day, it is you and I who would pay for it. But must we continue like this? Then I've heard arguments about how people are saying that dollar is coming down, but we are not seeing the corresponding effect in our markets. It is precisely so because of what I've indicated to you. That people are so selfish and greedy and wicked in this country. Nobody will say it. I will say it. I will say it. We have deliberately, intentionally done politics with every single situation in this country. Deliberately so. Deliberately. A matter that is not political, we will make it politics. So that tomorrow, NDC will be afraid to go to Makola and enforce price control mechanisms. Because if they did that, and people will now come and say, yeah, we told you, don't vote for them. They are wicked people. Look, there's an instance in MPP administration when an MCE did something which I found to be very patriotic and progressive. What happened? He went to Ofori-Atta, that popular stretch in Ofori-Atta. I've forgotten the name. And there were some people selling on the pavement. The gentleman went and sacked all of them.
So
the following day,
you've spoken to AFOAKWAH.
No, don't introduce him.
I need to introduce him.
Don't introduce him. I didn't mention his name.
You point.
Don't introduce
my viewers will be wondering why you are looking there.
Don't introduce my junior. Let me finish talking. Let me finish talking. Junior's name is
senior. Continue, then I'll go to
so let me finish talking. The gentleman did something which was patriotic. And for me, that's my position. If you do something that is progressive, I'll talk about it. I don't care whether NPP or NDC. It's about Ghana. The following day, he was called to order. Hey, do you want us to lose our seat? Do you want us to lose?
The Greater Accra Regional Minister then suffered the same thing.
But that is the point I'm making. But so then how do we move on as a country? Do you understand what I'm saying? That today, I have decided on my own that I'm not going to do again. I'm done. The last time I went to Tudu, people have taken over the streets. And the vehicle, they are there selling. If you tried to go and move these people away, they say, hey, Mahama ba, and then they will politicize the matter. So every government is afraid to do what is right. If you are a president or if you are a government and you want to be pampered, you can never rule. Because you see, Ghanaians like to be pampered, naturally. We like to be pampered, including myself. We like to always take the easy way out, including myself. And so we don't like to listen to the unpalatable things that will emanate from government. That's a fact. You can't say it. I will say it. People can hate me. I don't care. But the truth and the reality is that we are here because we have been pampering people, drivers, politics, and we are here. That they can so brazenly and flagrantly disregard the authorities that are involved in ensuring that we have a seamless transportation system in this country. That now you have a sitting member of parliament openly question the conduct of GPRTU in ensuring that the pricing system is uniform. Now the member of parliament wants to do politics with it. Yes, the member of parliament is doing politics with it. But why is he doing politics with it? Because it inures to his benefit. Why are we so selfish? So the politician is selfish, the driver is selfish, all of us are selfish. So who will govern the country? Who will have the interest of the country Ghana at heart? As we are all being selfish. Look, my position on this matter is definite and it's clear. It's palpably explicit. that if we want this country to move forward, we have to be united in having the unpleasant conversations. We should be very united in discussing the issues that we will ordinarily run away from. That if the drivers are misbehaving, let us look at them in their faces and tell them that, Kwaku Frimpo, you are misbehaving. That even if the consumers are also misbehaving, you tell us that consumers, you are misbehaving. Let us have those conversations. If we are resetting Ghana, then we must change our attitudes. Attitudinal change found the most important expression in the great transformational plan put forward by Alan Kojo Chemate. Because all of these things that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama intends to do, if we do not change our attitudes as Ghanaians, it will not happen. I'm telling you that they will go and bring new. I don't know whether you recall. When we were much younger.
So 30 seconds.
Kojo, when we were much younger, Kojo, I am the one who is giving you the ratings. Let me talk.
You need
Kojo,
to drink your coffee.
I'll drink my coffee, but AFOAKWAH will not talk. You see, let me say something. I don't know if you recall, Kojo, when we were much younger and we saw public officers who were using public cars, vehicles. You remember?
Yes.
My father was a policeman. I grew up in the Zongo. So I saw them. Then they would be driving the car in a very mannerless manner. When you ask them, you say, nah, I didn't buy a car. Oh, that's how I buy a car there. You have many instances where in public offices, people close work. When they go to work, they get to the office at 10. By 2, they are preparing to leave. By 2, they are preparing. Why? Because Abayajuma. The same person, the same person. If you ask him to go and work in a private, he will close at 9 p.m. So we are very wicked. See, so this is the argument. The argument is that we are very wicked towards the nation. Very, very wicked towards the nation. And we are so selfish towards ourselves.
Thank you.
So that is the point I want to establish.
I think
we must have
established
the
it very well.
unpleasant conversations that will definitely yield positive results if we did that.
Thank you. So, viewers, I would introduce my last 2 guests who have joined, one in person, another one via Zoom. So, lawyer ENOCH AFOAKWAH, he's a member of the NPP legal team.
But he's very intelligent. This guy, very sharp guy. Look at him.
So,
very smart guy.
Lawyer AFOAKWAH, official
My
party.
best friend. He's my best
Even though
friend.
we've met virtually, but we've not met in person.
Yeah.
so-
You see, it's nice seeing the learned BRAKO-POWERS. His Excellency KWAME OWUSU down.
Yeah, politics. You see this guy.
Kojo has been addressing you as His Excellency.
Kojo, the one I came, he was calling me Kwame. You don't know.
I said His
very
Excellency.
difficult.
You know,
This country.
whose wife is a spokesperson to our current vice president.
Yeah.
So, you know, he holds a two-edged sword. Sometimes he moves left and he moves right. But
Am I not lucky?
I believe he subscribes to the center-right ideology, looking at how his propositions are. It will not be far-reached that Kwame will one day be one of our national organizers of a new patriotic party to galvanize the base.
I know MPP likes believing in prophecy, so is it a prophetic?
Yeah, I saw him in my dream.
Right, let me also introduce Dr. Jalil. Doc, good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good, Doc. How are you doing too?
He has 10 lawyers.
I'm doing well.
Right, so Dr. Jalilo is a lecturer at the Political Science Department at University of Ghana. For those of you who are regular viewers and listeners to Current Agenda, you know that he's not a new face. So, Doc, I'll come to you right after I am done with lawyer AFOAKWAH. So,
So, like now you add a lawyer to the list.
It's not easy to become a lawyer in Ghana.
anyway,
For
the day I have the
you to
medical
address
doctors
as a
here,
lawyer,
they
you
tell
must
me
always show working. The law thing should be in the courtroom.
So,
for here, we are exercising our citizens'
I'm reading a question directly from one of.
I didn't even extend my felicitations to my brother, Noble. I've been seeing him in court and meeting him at NIB too. He's enjoying at NIB.
They are saying things behind the scenes, unseen.
That's why I do want to mafia no before he steps on the grass.
You see, when prosperity dawns on you like this, you must show gratitude, favor to the grassroots. And yes,
I like how you put it.
Like the Lotto doctor is not rich because he's generous. He gives out a good Samaritan. Yes. He gives numbers to the people. But you see, these socialists with taste are behaving more like the capitalists.
They are socialists with taste.
Anyway, so my viewer is asking that it appears everybody is going hard at drivers, but we all seem to forget the fact that spare parts dealers are not reducing prices. So even though price of fuel has gone down, and Kwame, I mean, you touched on it. Dollar has the exchange rate is also going in a positive way. Cedi is appreciating, but for some reason, spare parts dealers are still not reducing the price. That's what he's saying. And so, even though fuel has gone down, we cannot say that because of that they should reduce prices to match that reduction. What would be your take on that?
KOJO, before I take off, let me use your platform to extend my greetings to the leadership of the New Patriotic Party and to all and sundry, that our party will be greater and stronger after the 31st of January 2026 presidential primaries. That the party will not see any implosion, but will come together to prosecute the agenda of securing political power to enable us to govern the good people of this country. KOJO, from the proposition that I heard from my learned brother, KWAME, it comes to say that we are inviting government to implement what we call price control mechanisms as far as our economic lives are concerned. And I must say that Ghana is not a communist state. Ghana is not a purely socialist state. The state has no control as far as the price of commodities and the price of goods and services are concerned. Is government importing commodities into the country where wholesalers, retailers take their deliverables from the state in order to retail on the retail market? If yes, then government can stand in to say that I sold out at wholesale prices to you at this rate. We are giving you a percentage of profit that you take out to go and sell at these margins. Like what happens in the oil sector where we have the margins as to how much each and every one within the value chain goes home with. Talk of the OMCs, talk of the BDCs, talk of all those things. As to what happens in the cocoa industry where government is at the center of the cocoa trading, that Cocoa Board is the governmental organization in charge of procuring cocoa beans, provision of fertilizers and provision of all the accoutrements that is needed by farmers to be able to ensure that the actualization of the dream that we harvest cocoa beans for sale on the international markets are concerned. What can government do to a private man who has procured his Toyota Haze, used Toyota Haze from, say, America through an auction, accident car, brought it down, caused mechanics at Kokompe or whatsoever to cause it to be repaired.
World Angle Lions to come see.
Exactly. Put it on the street, register it, and start its business. Government has no control as far as the procurement of spare parts are concerned, and a whole lot of things. And we should also consider that when we talk of transportation, the transportation infrastructure is one of a major element as far as the issue of transportation is concerned. KOJO, are you not tired driving on the streets of Accra on weekdays, especially on Monday to Friday?
It takes me 2 hours to go to work in the morning.
Absolutely.
And when I close, also 2 hours. And I live in town.
I had a case in court. When was it? Was it on Thursday or Wednesday? And KOJO, virtually I asked the case to be stand down twice And later I asked it the judge to make a decision because it was CMC, it was case management conference. And I couldn't get to court.
In fact, I was going to Labour Court too. On Tuesday, and from Yoko to I had to get down and walk.
Could you from North Legon here? I just live at just North Legon here. North Legon here.
But the judge wanted to write, so I had to.
I live around the North Legon Hospital here. From there to just court complex here. Kojo, it took me more than 2 hours on the street. Why? A journey that ordinarily should take you 15 minutes. From North Legon here. 2 hours. The judge was magnanimous. Stood down the case that they should confirm where I have gotten to. Charlie, eventually, the last conferment I was at 37.
You can't make it.
I said, Jack, I can't make it. If I try anything, I'll die. So I can't die because of case management conference. So let it go. Whatever day they choose. If it favors me, I'll be in court. If it doesn't, we'll pray for an adjournment. Why? So the transportation infrastructure is also a challenge. Hitherto, the trotro drivers were going, say, 8 rounds from Medina to, say, Circle or Medina to Accra. The number of rounds they commute ordinarily gives them the returns that they desire. Now, because of this traffic jam, they are going 3 rounds. They are going 4 rounds. How can they make their sales? How can they pay for their fuel? And once you are in traffic, you are still burning fuel. Once you are stuck in this huge traffic mount, you are still burning fuel. Your engine is not off. It's as if you are driving from Accra to Kumasi. Because ordinarily 2 hours from North Legon to Accra, if I were in Kumasi traveling to Sunyani, I would have reached Sunyani long ago. 2 hours. Kumasi to Sunyani is about 2 hours. So somebody should stay in traffic for 2 hours ordinarily means that the person has covered more than about 180 kilometers, a distance of about 180, 150 kilometers. And it is fuel. Combustion, you are burning. So where can the person get the resources to compensate for a fuel that has not been paid for? That is why the issue of short in Trotro parlance is ongoing in Accra, in other cities in Ghana, in Kumasi. If a person should, say, get passengers from OWUSU en route to Medina, when he gets to 37, he says, I'm done. You get down, then they will start announcing again, Medina, 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 Medina. The same people will get themselves on board, then get to Medina. Or here when he gets to Tetekwashin interchange, I will not go again. This is my last stop. Get down, Aspana. Then you need to also get on board again. So a journey that ordinarily should take you just one trip of a vehicle, of trotro, you go in 3 times before you get to your final destination. And it is a pain to persons who do not own vehicles. Persons who own vehicles has also caused congestion. And what is the intervention of the state as far as this menace is concerned? One, we are talking about the drop in, but does that benefit the local community? Apparently no, because one, it aids importation. The importers benefit from the appreciation of the cedi against its major trading currencies. But it does not benefit local producers and local consumers. Why? Because there's no price control mechanisms. Who calculates what? Do we check the cost, insurance and freight of the goods of importers before they enter the market? And do we tell them from the port that once you have brought these quotations and we have passed a certain amount of, duties, then you need not to sell them beyond this point? Do we have such mechanisms in place? Once we don't have such mechanisms in place and they pass through the port and enter the general market, they have the benefit of what? Enjoying their so-called profit as they desire to profit from. Some of the goods of these papers delegates were imported at a time that the rates of the dollar were high, 15, 14, and the likes. Now that it is 12, should they sell them lower to also get a decline as far as their investments are concerned? So these are margins that we all need to tease our minds on. Kojo, if the government of the day is minded to ensure that citizens benefit as far as transportation in our major cities, especially in Accra, are concerned, why can't states participate fully in the intercity transportation or the intracity transport systems, like Ayalolo, like the Metro Mass, the electronic buses? I have heard.
Nelson says that they left 1,000+ Ayalulu and other buses for your government. Within 8 years, you sold almost half of them for 2,500 cedis each. Nelson again says that within 8 years, your government did not expand the inner city road networks and even make alternative routes. And so the issue you are saying about the traffic buildup, perhaps if you had done it within 8 years, we would not be here. That's what Nelson said before you.
I don't think Nelson stayed in Accra throughout the 8-year rule of the NDC one, and stayed in Accra throughout the 8-year rule of His Excellency Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. If you talk of expansion in road infrastructure, has he used the East Airport roads? That leads to which estate is that? Is it Regimanuel? The Regimanuel, the Sprinters Road, that leads to the Regimanuel stretch. There's the Flower Pot interchange and those things. Are they all not within the city?
He says you paid attention to roads that do not affect the ordinary, for want of a better, ordinary Ghanaian. So they give example 4. Amasaman, Winneba, you mentioned the other one. Nungwa. Those are the ones that goes to the lifeline dwellers. You see, he doesn't understand transportation and he doesn't understand governance. One, you talk of the major flow lines in Accra. Which are the major flow lines in Accra as far as routes are concerned? You talk of this Liberation Road. Yes. It's a major flow line because it connects the eastern region. It connects almost all the major suburbs in Accra. So the Liberation Stretch is a major flow line. Which one is the Liberation Stretch? From Accra straight to from 37 from the National Theatre stretch to Legon and up to Ayi Mensah and those things. It's a major stretch. Look at talk of this Achimota stretch. How come President Akufo-Addo initiated the moves to have that major trunk road, the stretch? Is it 10 lanes or is it 5 lanes? Or the Pukwas interchange stretch. It's 5. What was the nature of that stretch before Akufo-Addo came to power? Is he aware of that stretch? The investment in that? Talk of the motorway stretch. That is it Maripoma or what? Yes. Is working on. And if he has passed on that stretch recently, the work that was started by President Akufo-Addo is still ongoing. So, in terms of expansion, yes. In terms of transportation, goes to, like I mentioned, the road infrastructure is key. And as part of the road infrastructure, the connectivity and the participation of government. Because if government should leave this mini trotro at the stage of our city now, current age, they will leave the city transport to mini buses, trotro drivers. Why wouldn't congestion build up in this magnitude? Because persons, commuters who need to transport themselves in and out from work, in and out to the market centers, in and out to their offices, need vehicles to ply on. And that if I am benefiting, I am a trotro driver or I am a trotro investor, I buy trotro to ply on these routes. Ordinarily, a minibus will take how many passengers? 12 or? Yes. 12 or say 18, or if the sprinter buses take about 18 thereof. 18, yes. But a BAT, like Ayalulu and those things, can take more than 30, 40 passengers. So if ordinarily a minibus is taking 12 passengers, Ayalulu can take, say, 40 passengers. How many vehicles combine in one Ayalulu bus? About 4 vehicles. So you are taking 4 vehicles off that stretch, easing the roadbed for other road users like the private commuters and those things. But if we allow the private participation only on that stretch, the state staying out of the competition, leaving it to individuals, then profit margining becomes the order of the day. Maybe the last one, so I go to Jalu. But even on the private participation, elsewhere, there's private participation, but not even individuals. They are private-owned companies. So there are codes that are guiding and guarding these companies. So you don't have one individual who goes to buy an LT bus and just goes to weld this 3x4 metals and it's scratching, but it's a company, and that company has been given the responsibility. So this individual idea, I think we should start looking at moving away from it. It should be a matter of policy and a matter of state investment in this manner.
we can't, at this present age, allow private commuters to get into even the central business district. They should have a point of termination. Now, they have adopted that system for themselves already, the short system, meaning that they can only ply up to this point. That should be a matter of policy, that if you are a trotro, areas where the state transit buses cannot ply is where we reserve for this private participation for the nooks and crannies or the various suburbs. The major corridors, like the Liberation stretch, like the Achimota stretch, like the Kaswa stretch, and those things, should be manned and plied by intra-city state buses. If the state invites private off-takers to take over that mandate, like KWAME also say Powers transportation system, where Powers prove to the state that he can produce, his company can procure, say, 50 buses that can ply that stretch. They sit with the state, and the state says that, oh yes, if it is a state-led agenda, we are charging, like this the electronic bus, I think they say they charge 6 cedis or something from Oyarifa to Accra. So if you can equally charge 6 cedis or 6.5 as a private investor, we allow you a stretch. These kilometers you are charging, because this is the money, because state is also doing it. Because if you fail this, then we will compete you on that stretch. Yes. We don't leave that monopoly to the private investor to dictate the prices because he wants to marginalize his profits. No, but if the state leaves it in this manner, then it becomes worrying situation. It should not be just by way of rhetorics. The government is bringing in 1,000 buses, and which stretches are these 1,000 buses going to apply? Under the circumstances, which stretch?
Very interesting question.
Which stretch?
Very interesting question.
Once we are bringing in buses, then we must go to enforce a certain policy that will ensure that, yes, we bring the buses to ease the congestion in town. We also allow the private participation in certain areas to also beef up their investment and those things, to also ensure that there is sanity, because we cannot go and now demolish buildings to be able to expand roads. That is also cost. Where are we going to get the money from? We have existing roads which are untarred. We have existing roads which need expansion. We have existing roads which need resurfacing. Look at the Accra-Kumasi stretch. Bumpy. You drive in and you enter. It is not. My friend is a pothole. It's not a pothole. But it is a scratch. It is a scratch, undulating approach and those things. You could see that the roadbed, the thickness of the roadbed, if it was 9 inches, at the point you get to a point and it has peeled off, reducing to say 6 inches. But it is not a pothole. But it is a tiled road, but just that it is still bumpy and those kind of things, which is even dangerous for road users and those things. So
the other place,
the Shire Hills area?
No, the one that goes to
Denu.
Yeah, it used to be like that.
Exactly. So certainly we need to be careful on our road infrastructure and those things, and our traffic engineers should give us a better framework that can be followed, and government should ensure that in order to ensure sustainable development, transportation is a crucial element as far as sustainable development of our Ghanaian local economy is concerned. Why must somebody stay in traffic? We stay more in traffic than we stay in our offices and in our workplaces. Because if you stay in traffic for, say, 3 hours, if you are driving personally, your own private vehicle, you are staying in traffic for 2 hours, how much more somebody using trotro to get to work? The person will stay in traffic more than 3 hours because the person will stop, the trotro will stop, drop passengers. You are going straight without any stoppage. You are spending 2 hours.
Okay.
But the person who is in trotro, where the trotro gets to Shiashi, it will stop and pick passenger and load. Where the trotro gets to Spanner, it will stop, drop passengers and load. Where the trotro gets to Airport First, it will stop and load. How many hours will it take the same person to get to the office or to get to the workplace? And it means that productivity is gradually becoming lower and lower and lower without the benefit of the state, and we must look at that conditions very much so.
So I want to read.
My brother AFOAKWAH said his own questions and he answered them.
You need to sometimes set your questions and
Oh, he said he's your junior.
No, he's my brother. No, I like to tease him.
Yes. So
he said his own questions and he answered them. We are talking about an important issue.
Is it not important?
No, because you see,
no, it's not
we
important.
are talking about spare parts and all those things. How is that relevant to?
So it's not relevant. So spare parts is not relevant to road transportation.
The conversation about spare parts.
The transport issue.
No. You were talking about the importation of vehicle.
Let me refer him to the spare parts deal with respect to the ambulance saga.
Counsel.
Why did it become a subject matter of public concern?
You
Spare
are
parts.
talking about
you don't understand what you are saying.
207 buses. And the fact that when the buses get in, the people who imported the buses must run them so they make profit. What has that got to do with what we are discussing today?
I think the point he's making is that
Nobody-
it's because of their desire to want to make profit. That's how come they are doing the
The man procured loan
Let's do this.
to buy this.
Is it-
He needs to
let me
pay
tell you
off.
something. Then let's do this.
He depends on spare
Let's
parts.
not reduce the prices at the ports. Let's do that. Let's not reduce the prices of fuel. Let's do that. Then we can come and have a conversation. Because what you are telling me right now is that the person who imported those buses should make profit at the expense of the person. But that's what you're saying.
No. You are diverting the whole matter.
I am not.
No, you are diverting the whole
We
matter.
all listen.
It's
Don't
two
listen
things.
to him.
No,
Why are you
it's
sitting
no,
down?
it's two
Okay.
things.
Powers.
No,
listen to him.
no, Kwame.
So,
Kwame, you are getting it wrong. Let's clarify this matter clearly. It is two things. Private sector and the state sector. The private sector is dependent on the private man who is running his business. Whether he procured loan, whether it is personal resources, he needs how do you call it? To recapitalize, to get money, pay off his investment,
the
and make profit.
The hypocrisy
it is
is
one
what
thing.
I'm pointing
Two,
out.
the private man does not control the price of spare parts. Three, some of these spare parts were procured at a time that the dollar rates were very high. And it is still there because you can get to ABDUL-JALILU and get the spare parts. That was imported as far as 10 years ago.
Kwame, hold on for a minute.
So you can't divert attention.
No, 30 seconds. And what you are saying.
I'm
makes a point. I'm giving you a minute. I don't want him to interrupt you again.
I have not.
So that's why I'm saying I'm giving him just 30 seconds. Let him say that he's ended. I'm giving 30 seconds.
Kwame is G3. Kwame should know that he's a statesman.
No, that would not be a fair. No, that's not a fair comment. No. I won't allow him. No.
You see, when Kwame told me that I set my own questions, I have deviated from what is on the table. That was fair.
No, but he was speaking to you, not your wife.
Oh, no.
So there's no point bringing his wife in here this morning.
Then I withdraw the spokesperson of Her Excellency, the Vice President's comment here.
Yeah, I'm just saying the same thing.
Proud husband, you know.
And that is good.
Very proud.
I'm proud of you because
is your wife also taking care of you like somebody told us?
My wife is taking care of me.
Okay, so Enoch.
you see, we should situate the issue in perspective.
I need to go for a quick break, so
We should
please
situate the
let's
issue in
be
perspective.
first.
One, I said that the private man needs to make profit, and that the profit should not be that kind of way bloated to cause pain to the transport users. Two, I implore government. Yes, I said it.
Now you are saying
Yes, I said it.
Okay.
I invited
So you've amended
government.
your statement. Let's go on.
I have not amended it. I invited government to come into the matter that we should not cede the main corridors within our city to this small minibus operators. I said it.
Yes.
That once they have adopted the short approach to themselves, that it means that they can be given specific areas within our suburbs to operate there, so that you remember you see these areas. Sometimes you go to certain areas like Oyarifa, Ghana flag, and those things. You get to you can see this. I'm from saying the Okada riders.
Yes.
They stay on certain points. They transport people from the junction to the inner
so I think
areas
that
and those things.
you-
So
you've
we
made-
should see
AFOAKWAH.
it as a matter
So
of
I think
policy.
your
Of
10
some of these
seconds is
areas.
up.
We can't control because the state is not involved in the importation of these vehicles. The state is not involved in the payment of. No. Kwame, you can't tell me what to say. And this is a reality that we all face ourselves. The car I'm driving is the state that purchased this car for me.
What's his name? Ekufado's time.
Me, Akufo-Addo, I bought it under Mahama.
Okay.
Then what is
I bought what cheap?
Gentlemen, it's okay. Thank
you
you.
see, we are not being fair.
To who?
I started
Fair to
trying
who,
to.
Rena?
You see, because it's important that.
Kwame, I just
You
asked
see,
you. I asked you to hold on. I was going to give you an opportunity.
You are not a
I'm
member of
going-
the government communication
No,
platform.
Kwame.
I'm a Ghanaian.
No, Kwame.
stop
Kwame, you need
that
to.
with
Kwame,
the greatest of respect.
No, Kwame.
Nelson, is he on the
you need to
government
allow me
communication
to
platform?
host this program.
With the greatest of
Kwame,
respect.
allow me. Kwame, I'm going to give you a minute to speak. So that's why I say you should hold on.
KOJO.
Now I've ended with Enoch.
You have not ended with it.
No, I have.
Is Kwame a member of the government communication
No,
platform?
he's not.
I don't know. Kwame is not.
He's here.
But Kwame is forcing himself.
He's
to be
here
identified
as
a
the
prospective
president
member.
of Accountability Forum. So he has as a duty to speak in
President of what?
Accountability Forum.
Hey,
Yes.
we saw this.
Kwame, 1 minute.
Let me tell you one thing.
But
for us to
no,
laugh.
you started in 2018.
No, let me tell you one thing for us to laugh.
2018.
During Funka game matter, I used to go on radio station, and one guy was coming as a neutral person, social commentator. Later, we saw him drive a Jomama 2012 pick. I said, hey, neutral social commentator. Now social commentator. Always, he was fond of going that I say, hey, social commentator. So accountability forum. Me, I respect Kwame's position a lot. But
I don't see why
he shouldn't be posting his CV for him to be included on the government communication platform.
Kwame, 1 minute.
See,
Just
again,
try and do it within 1 minute.
What he has said is actually very, very derogatory.
Oh, it's not.
I thought you people
Because
said
see-
you are friends
no,
and you
no,
are
no,
doing
no,
friendship things.
No. If I wanted to be given an opportunity to serve in this government,
He's a guy, man.
I would.
He pierced.
I would. Yes, of course. I've lived my life.
Kwame, please focus. Don't let her forget. You know him.
Then you don't know me.
Don't allow him.
You see, the point is that we are having a national conversation. It is not a partisan conversation. And remember, I premised my analysis on this NDC MPP banter. It doesn't help anybody. What he's talking about, when I now pushed him, you see, he has clarified. So now he's speaking about the private man benefiting, but should benefit
Not at the expense.
not at the expense of the ordinary person. That is what we are talking about.
Right.
Now he's talking about spare parts. And I was telling my brother that in relation to the spare parts and some other, sectors, you can understand why they are refusing to reduce the prices, because we have an economic outlook that is not FX certain.
You're not too sure.
You are not too sure. So today it is hovering around 9 cedis, but you don't know what will happen in the next 3, 4, 5 months. So usually people can't hedge.
So they use a wait and see approach.
Brilliant point you've made. So I cannot fault them too much. But with the transport to Egypt, you can actually see that the prices of fuel have gone down. And then anytime the price of fuel goes up, hold on. Oh, my brother. Anytime, if the price of fuel goes up, right, they are at liberty to increase. They are at liberty to increase.
Only fuel you are talking about.
They are about,
That's
no.
a skewed argument.
Oh,
If you
Massa,
talk only about fuel,
Massa, what has been
It's a
their
skewed
own,
argument.
what has been their own reasons? Are you a driver now? Maybe
I'm
you
a
are
driver.
driver.
I'm a driver.
If you are a truck
Yes,
driver,
I'm a driver.
I have this argument.
Okay.
I'm a driver.
But I'm not a truck driver.
I'm a
So,
driver.
viewers,
I buy lubricants.
we are,
You
we
buy
are,
lubricants.
gentlemen, I'm doing, I
Why
need,
says it buys lubricants?
gentlemen,
Lubricants.
You buy lubricants.
You don't know lubricants?
AFOAKWAH and Kwame, I'm speaking to the people watching us, so please give me,
Can we put
so
your phone line for the drivers to talk?
they are right now on the road. I don't want them to be
They can
driving
talk.
and talking.
You can't make a skewed argument as to fuel.
So,
and
but
other
They themselves
So-
are giving reasons why they are.
consumables in the sector.
Why are you a driver? They themselves-
Gentlemen,
they themselves are giving you a-
gentlemen, can I do this now? Thank you. So we are live. We are still live on GTV, GBC News. Also live on Radio Ghana. We are live on our Facebook pages, GTV and Ghana Broadcasting, and also on YouTube. If you also want to join us on WhatsApp, you can join us on 053 110 1315, 053 110 1315. I can see Kwame is signaling for more coffee after doing all he has just done. I would want to read a few messages. In fact, you need to bring the coffee machine to him so that, because from how he's going, but let me read a few messages from my viewers. So this one says, please follow your discussion, and all of you are against drivers. I think we have made that point that it's not only against drivers. Have you forgotten that spare parts prices are the same? Road network are very bad. I think some of my panel members have mentioned it. What is the government doing to fix the roads and also help reduce prices of spare parts? Kwame, these are my viewers. Please allow them. They've allowed you, so please allow them. Good morning, brethren. Please, I want to make a suggestion. I think the GPRTU should put their starting point to the destinations on the windscreen of the cars, where we, the passengers, know which bus to join. So just like in other countries, you see this is a car, maybe it's Kaswa-bound car. So that's what this viewer is. He's called Michael from ABDUL-JALILU. Thank you, Michael. This is also from another viewer. He says that this government should set up a functional consumer protection agency. So Nelson, maybe since you are a legal team member and a communication spokesperson, so you should please take this up. good morning, KOJO. I have made time today to listen to your panel members, and I can say that they are all making a very great contribution to subject matter. But my question is, how do you convince the ordinary commuter that GPRTU's intervention is about safety and not revenue, when passengers still experience speeding, intimidation, and fare inconsistencies every single day? So this is from Daniel in Domiabra, Ubom constituency. I read two more, then I can go for a quick break. Good morning. This is from Mustafa. To you, gentlemen, your microphones are on. So good morning to you all. I like the show. The man with the black uniform, okay, Kwame, you're wearing a uniform, was on top. So the man in black uniform. This also is from Nana Asuna. He says that good morning. It seems the drivers are charging exorbitantly, and someone is saying that you are being hard on drivers. I want to ask the drivers, are they supposed to purchase spare parts, or the owners of the vehicles purchase the spare parts? That's an interesting question. This is also from another. He says that the man speaking at the extreme end to AFOAKWAH, this to you, is being political and not patriotic. So I think this person is agreeing with KWAME. Before the dollar shot up, they brought things up, but when it went down, they are refusing to decrease. Coming to the trotro issue, you are supporting theft and greediness. How much fuel will your car consume when in traffic? Trotro fuel consumption is not like private cars because their type of cars use less fuel. This I don't think this from an engineering point of view is. So I read, why are we all blaming drivers? We are all Ghanaians, but it seems most stakeholders have not reduced their prices. For example, and Kwame made it domestic rents, school fees, engine oil, cocoa and bread, and all those people. But why are we all against drivers? In fact, the government has done well, so we as a nation should help too. So we'll be going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be delving into the Ofori-Atta extradition discussion. We'll be right back after this break.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa, we are indeed the way.
Current Agenda is brought to you by Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. And National Petroleum Authority, NPA, where customer care meets excellence.
Well, welcome back. Sometimes the discussions behind the scene when we go for the break are the interesting ones. I wish we all get an opportunity to experience it. You see it. But yes, on Ken Ofori-Atta. Kwame, why? Yeah. What is it?
I will let you.
It's because he says so many unfounded things. So many unfounded things.
We leave some part of the discussion for the viewers to also continue discussing.
If you are saying that
you are going to go into it again.
No, I'm just quickly saying that if he says that the depreciation in the dollar is immaterial, and so the drivers must not necessarily reduce their fares.
Same to increase.
Because
But
salaries,
increase, they
salaries
don't
are also
remain
the same.
AFOAKWAH, on the Ken Ofori-Atta extradition issue, we heard
this guy.
we heard the Attorney General indicate. I think
Who said that?
the Attorney General.
Attorney General.
Yes.
Okay.
He indicated that all of this visa issue was initiated as a result of the extradition. In fact, let me read exactly what he said. This in I think during a discussion on Newsfile on January 10th. He said that the detention is part of ongoing extradition processes. I didn't make this public, but I started investigating Ofori-Atta. In fact, in his case, I'm doing it with some foreign investigators who are tracking all the offshore dealings and so on. We are also doing our own investigations here. They are inconclusive as we speak. I mean, we have not come to any conclusion. So I started working with Americans in respect of Ofori-Atta long before OSP came up with the announcement. I started working with them, and I want Ghanaians to know that he just didn't overstay his visa. So the Attorney General is telling us that all this is part of government's efforts to bring him back. As one of the members of the MPP legal team, and I believe you are, correct me if I'm wrong, but part of Ken's legal team. Correct me if I'm wrong. You are not. Okay, so as a member of the MPP legal team, hearing that all this has been as a result of the efforts of government.
KOJO, it is intriguing to hear this. It is this same government that approbates and reprobates. When the issue of the cancellation of visas for some countries, immigrant visas for some countries were concerned, and the minority in parliament triggered a position that the foreign minister should be relieved of his office as the Minister on Foreign Affairs. Say that what has Ghana to do with a decision that has been taken by the American government. Clearly, it is in recognition of the respect of the jurisdictional powers of states. KOJO, I am a student of international relations and diplomacy, and it is worrying to hear the Learned Attorney General say that the alleged revocation of the visa of Mr. Ofori-Atta is as a result of something he initiated. So it is to the effect that a competent authority in Ghana can direct a competent authority in a different state to act in a particular manner. Then it comes to confirm the position of the minority in parliament that Honorable AFOAKWAH failed to discharge his mandate diligently as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, culminating into the American government cancelling immigrant visas for persons coming from the Republic of Ghana. What is this issue about Kenneth Ofori-Atta? It's a notorious fact that Mr. Ofori-Atta is in ICE's detention in respect of an immigration matter, pursuant to his application for adjustment of immigration status in the United States of America. I heard in that same press conference that the Attorney General said that the trial of Mr. Ofori-Atta before the immigration judge is synchronized with that of the extradition. We are lawyers. At least we have 4 lawyers on your platform. This is a separate and distinct matter before the immigration judge to decide whether or not Mr. Ofori-Atta's stay in the United States of America is legal or illegal. What has that to do with extradition? Again, During the application, the bond application, in our jurisdiction, we call it a bail application in respect of Mr. Ofori-Atta's matter before the immigration judge. The state attorneys representing the American government raised the issue, objecting to the prayer for bail or the prayer for the bond. Informed the judge that Mr. Ofori-Atta has been requested to be extradited by the Republic of Ghana. And the judge clearly told them that that matter is not before her and that they should show evidence and file that a saying before the 19th of February, on which return date the consideration as to whether or not the grant of the bond or the bail application will be considered. So certainly, it comes to amplify the point that the ongoing trial in respect of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta before the immigration judge is separate, unique, and distinct from the extradition request, which is notorious in nature, that the Republic of Ghana, through the Attorney General's office, has made to the American competent authorities. The matter has been adjourned. But in respect of the bond application, on the 19th of February, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta and his lawyers will be in court on their prayer for bail pending the trial in respect of the Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta as to whether or not his stay in America is lawful or unlawful. So if the late Attorney General has stated that there's an ongoing investigation, he has made contact with some investigators outside the shores of this republic, trying to locate or trying to gather evidence as to the offshore activities of Mr. Ofori-Atta and blah, 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 blah. That is what we have tasked them to do. Because the asset of Ghana belongs to the people of Ghana. And if Mr. Ofori-Atta is not above the law, and I believe that he's a law-abiding person who did not run away from this country, it should be a matter of fact that Mr. Ofori-Atta did not run away from this country. It is on record that on 2nd January 2025, he formally requested the permission of the chief of staff to travel outside the shores of Ghana to seek medical care. And it's on record that he had some surgeries conducted on him at the Mayo Clinic in the US of A and other things. We are all aware of what is happening. We are not against government seeking to get Mr. Ofori-Atta back into the Republic to face charges as to whether or not he misconducted himself in any manner when serving as the finance minister of the Republic of Ghana under the reign of His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We have absolutely no challenge to this at all, because he's not above the laws of Ghana. But certainly, what should be told is that we must follow due process. And the commentaries associated or ascribed to Mr. Ofori-Atta is gradually becoming more and more unfair against the person of Mr. Ofori-Atta. His presumption of innocence under Article 19(2)(c) continuously gets breached by officers of the Republic of Ghana using the court of public opinion to try the matter of in respect of Mr. Ofori-Atta.
Ask him how. Don't just let him.
Oh, please, when you get your turn, Kwame, you can. No. You see how? You see. This is what this is what he continues.
No, please. We are lawyers. No, no. Because you have very discerning viewers. You need to ask him to explain how the OSP, and
you have no idea. You have no idea what my follow-up question would be. You have no idea how my follow-up question would be.
Okay, sorry.
You see,
you're allowing this one to just talk, and bring Okuja to
you see, sometimes.
The two of you, I advise my producer against the two of you.
It gives me inclination. Initially, I thought Kwame was not on the government communication platform. Focus. Let's focus. I come to realization or the belief that
I need to go to Dr. Jalilu, so let's focus. Let's focus.
It is clearly unfair that the matter of Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta has been run this way. And you see, whatever they are doing, it is not in the interest of the Republic of Ghana. Why do I say so? I say so because extradition has its own, is governed by rules, is governed by law. It must not be politicized. There must be due process. It must be in silence and those kind of things. These are tried elements anchored in extradition. So if you are politicizing the issue of extradition of Mr. Ofori-Atta, it has become a public matter. And now Arise Ghana is now picketing at in front of the American embassy. What are they signaling the American government? To confirm the fears of Mr. Ofori-Atta, whether or not justice will be served him when he comes back to this country, whether or not it is a politically tainted trial, whether or not it is persecution and not prosecution. So all that we are doing comes to embolden. And I believe that maybe the state feels they don't have a case. But because it was a political matter, they need to satisfy certain elements. Okay. The reason they are going along with that tangent. If not so, they could have done this on the quiet.
Okay. I have a video.
As enshrined.
I have a video of the Attorney General. I'll come back when after the hearing for Ken, he was interviewed. Let's play the quick video. Maybe it will tie into whatever it is that you are saying. So if my producer can have the video on for me now.
What's your own thought on that?
Well, the American authorities are handling the process and they are handling it in accordance with American law. So far, I don't find anything wrong with what has taken place. As you rightly pointed out, I monitored the hearing yesterday, and I have had reports from the United States regarding what has happened and what may happen, but these are confidential discussions, and I'm not supposed to talk to the media about what they have briefed me on.
Yesterday, the trial judge said something. He said there's no proof of any extradition request and that it should be filed by the federal government before February 19. What is your own thoughts on that?
No, the Justice Department is working on the extradition request. Now, you have to understand that what is happening now is in relation to immigration violation, immigration law violations. All right, that is separate and distinct from the extradition request. And so if it was put in before the the immigration judge that there's an extradition request, he wants a formal, filing before him. So the Justice Department would have to do that before a decision is taken.
When will that happen based on your contact?
No, I don't control what happens with the Justice Department.
Okay, so I think the Attorney General confirmed part of what it is that you said, Kwame, that the cases are distinct. And so just, sorry, no, Kwame, Enoch, 30 seconds, so I move to Dr. Jalilu.
The Attorney General said that he is informed of what has happened and what will happen. He's informed of what has happened and what will happen. These are the same people that told us they were going to bring Ofori-Atta by January or so, and a whole lot. There has been a series of unfulfilled promises or unfulfilled adventures that they have mentioned to the people of this country. And this is one of them, that he said respectfully that he's informed of what has happened and what will happen. So he's optimistic that but he also has admitted that the matter before the immigration judge is separate and distinct. And once it is separate and distinct, he's going through a process. And that I have mentioned that Mr. Ofori-Atta has made formal application far before he was accosted by ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, on the adjustment of his immigration status. Right. And this is a tried legal process in the American states, that if you are within the state and you want to adjust your immigration status, there are 5 on the 19th of February 2026, and the continuation of the matter before the court as to whether or not he's in the state legal or illegal. Right. Dr. On 27th April.
This issue about Ken coming to Ghana, Ken OSP, Ken Attorney General, Ken Extradition, Ken Mayo Clinic, we've been, you, myself, Powers, Kwame have been discussing this over and over again. Does this, for you, sound more of how close we are to virtually or eventually getting
Thank you very much, Kojo. Good morning to your viewers, and then my colleague panelist, Powers, KWAME, and then ENOCH, Fishapa. I think you need to give add if ENOCH's cup is empty, you need to add more. This time, don't give him coffee, give him Milo. The way he heckle KWAME, he needs more.
Yes.
More Milo.
Yes. He's even doing this on
right,
an empty stomach, so I can imagine.
All right, so what I will say is, I think the issues, like the immigration issues and then his extradition, whatever is happening, in fact, we can't completely say that they are not linked, okay? Because his visa got revoked, right? And he was given a period, to leave also, and he didn't, all right? So in my view, even though the case before the U.S. Immigration Court has to do with his immigration status, but I think that came as a result of the revocation of his visa. Now, the question you ask, whether we are close to getting Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta back to Ghana, is still something that is difficult to say that we are getting closer, because one, sometimes that is if the immigration court decides that, in fact, your visa had been revoked and you were supposed to leave, and then you are not leaving, you do not have this, and then maybe if the decision is that you cannot stay that on that basis, then it means that we are likely to get him back to Ghana. On the other hand, if they decide that maybe he had made some, application in terms of some visa, something, and then they decide that on that basis, because once maybe if he made some application for maybe either a new visa or something, then it means that until that decision is taken, it will be difficult for him to be brought back to Ghana, right? And even if that is upheld, now the issue has to do with extradition, and that is going to take a longer period, right? But the issue now has to do with the severity of the issues that are being discussed, right? This has to do with alleged financial malfeasance and all that in relation to a number of issues, the SML, the termination of ECG, BAC contract, ambulance. There are so many other things, right? So I believe that the U.S. authorities, just like any other state, they want people to discharge, their duty responsibly, right? So if there are issues of, especially this is a person who served as a finance minister for about 7 years or so. So all that, the government is requesting for is that maybe there are some issues that you need to come and explain to us, right? So that is that position. And people are actually praying and hoping that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta will come back to Ghana, and then to come and then let us know maybe whether, because at the moment they are just allegations, okay? They are just allegations. But for me, why he's not even also coming, I was expecting that maybe sometime if you decide that you don't want to come, that will create the impression that maybe you believe that there are some issues that you cannot account for, or you cannot explain to the satisfaction, because indeed maybe there are some malfeasance, and maybe that is the reason why he doesn't want to come. Other than ordinarily, I was thinking that maybe a person of that, serving in that capacity, right, to find yourself in ICE detention camp, all that, I think that is it's something that is not good, especially if you find, your colleague, a Ghanaian, being subjected to that. But I think that on this occasion, it appears that maybe he has brought this to himself. I believe that if he had come, because there are so many people that are going through the legal processes in Ghana here, and I think that Ghana is not that, republic where, your rights can just be trampled upon, right? So that it will serve him better, because if it had been the issue has to do with health, then it's a different situation. But from the look of things, because if it has to do with health issues, I believe that where he is now, there have been some considerations and all that. So if everything is well with him, I think that he should not wait to do all these kinds of things at the end of the day, then when you are deported. So I believe that it is getting him now is difficult to say. We can get him based on, if the immigration court decide that your immigration status, you do not have status to live in the US, and therefore you have to go home, then it means that we can get him. But if you had made some applications and then waiting for those, then it means that ordinarily, normally, when you are even and then you make some application for extension of your visa, you live your normal life and all that. So getting him back, I think that if even the authorities, the Ghanaian state, the United States are still trying to get him, whether through the immigration or extradition, I think it will serve him good to self-deport, to come back home, right? Sometimes you need to just face the issues as they are. Because when you come, it's like nobody is just going to, when you are arrested, when you are even arrested or invited, there will be bail conditions, and we have seen all so many other things. And looking at the situation where this thing had gone to, where it has reached now, right? Because he fears that he will not have the justice and that kind of thing. So I believe that looking at all things that have happened over the period, if he self-deports, I believe that the Ghanaian government is going to treat him well. I do not think that they have treated people in the past, even where bail conditions were said that were very harsh. People spoke about it, and then I think that it would be good for him to return to Ghana, right? Rather than waiting for, because if you wait and then after everything, the decision is that you have to come to Ghana, then what is going to happen? So I think that this particular moment in time, if he had even self-deported earlier, it would have been good. But the opportunity, I think, in my view, is still there for him to clear certain doubt. Because if you still don't want to come, then it means that people will read so many meanings that maybe you have something in your something that you believe that when you come, you cannot escape, whether it is prison or whatever it is, right? So if you look at what you are projecting, our former finance minister, and this simply because the state is asking that come and answer, and then you do not come, you are not coming, and then where you find yourself, I think that is not a good thing in my view. It would be good for him and his own, integrity, the respect for his family and all that, and people, his loved ones. I think that they should have a rethink about the decision to continue to fight to stay in the US rather than coming back home.
Very much. I appreciate your viewpoint on this. I'll come back to you because I know this topic is very dear to you, so I'll definitely come back to you. But Nelson, I know once AFOAKWAH has spoken from the MPP end, you definitely want to respond. I've seen you write on this Ken issue.
All right, thank you. This case involving Ken reveals the status of MPP as a party that does not respect the laws of our country. Why do I say 5? He wrote a letter that he wants to travel out of the country for medical review in Mayo Clinic in US. Gave a specific address. That's where he is going to stay. Even when the OSP was looking for him, they said, oh, they have the OSP knows where he is. Even he can do it online. OSP can interview him online. Ken is not afraid to stand trial. He is ready to come any day. He gave a specific address. But where was he arrested? By the ICE. He was arrested near their presidential palace. So that should tell you that this is someone who does not intend to come to this country to come and stand trial. His location where he was arrested alone should reveal to you that this is someone who does not intend coming back. Because if you intend coming back, the same address you gave as where you were. That's how come you were inviting OSP to come and interview you. Now the arrest has revealed to all of us that that is not your address. So where was he inviting OSP to come? Assuming OSP get to US today and Ken is, supposing he's not arrested, that means they are not going to find him at the location he claimed he was. So that should tell you that this is someone who does not intend coming back at all. So this issue about Ken is ready to come and stand trial any day by he's just being scared or whatever, should tell you that what this is a gathering of people or a group of people that does not respect the laws of our country. Because in any case, the same constitution that gave you the opportunity to become a minister is the same constitution that calls on you to account for your stewardship. And the same constitution that gave power to the judiciary to grant you bail if you are arrested. Even the police have the power to grant you bail. So what is he talking about? Bail that every day people get arrested, you get bail. Police grant you self-recognizant bail, or they even grant you bail where you bring sureties. So what is he talking about that when he comes? In any case, look at the people that were arrested. The people that, all the people that were cited in the same charge sheet, how were they treated? All of them are out as of today. None of them have been kept for even more than 24 hours. So what he is talking about, this is a man that does not intend coming back. And MPP is just trying to shield him. But I can bet you, at the end of the day, we are going to get him and bring him to this country.
How is MPP shielding him when MPP is in Ghana and not in the US? When MPP is not ICE, how is MPP shielding him?
The MPP is shielding him by making the advocacy as if this is a man who is ready to come to this country. This is a man that is afraid of how he will be treated. How is he going to be treated if we have Article 19 still standing in our Constitution? If we have Article 14 still standing? If we have Section 19 still standing in our criminal law books? So if you have all these laws in place, why can someone be saying that he is not sure how he is going to be treated? Is it not the same judiciary that was in this country when he was minister for 8 years? The same judiciary is still there as of today. We still have the High Court, we still have the Court of Appeal, we still have Supreme Court, we still have the Chief Justice. So what is he talking about that he is not aware, he does not know how he is going to be treated? So this is purely a party that is ready to shield their member to make sure that he does not come to stand trial. But I can bet you that will bring him to this country. Because in any case, if you see the orders from the judge that was sitting on his immigration case, the judge made an order that they should bring the document that shows that there is an existing extradition request on him. So, by all means, before the 19th of February, they'll tender that document in, and I'm sure he should be repatriated soon. Because come and account for what you have done. All we are asking for is come and account. The same law that gave you power to be appointed, the same law says account for your stewardship. Just come and account. What, as a Minister of Finance, what are you to do? You have to present budget to Parliament. Once Parliament approves that budget, you have to disburse. If you've done all these things by the books, because in any case, the Constitution that allows you to come to Parliament and come and present budget. The Constitution that allows you to appropriate. So why won't you just come and tell us, oh, the Constitution says I should do A, B, C, D. This law, Appropriation Act says I should do A, B, C, D. I've done it according to the books. If in any case it went bad, that's what I could do. Just come and tell us what you were able to do. Then you are now hiding from one state to the other. This is someone who first he was white, every day wearing white. Today he is in dark jumpsuit with a winter coat, remove a winter coat as if he is coming. Meanwhile,
well, you wanted him to wear a white winter coat.
He should still wear the white. He should still wear the white. Let's see him in the white still.
But when you go to the detention center, do not give you.
Now
uniforms?
He is numbered like.
So that's a uniform.
Like Trotro, when you are seated behind, yes, 100 cedi. If they mention your name by 100 cedi in Trotro, if you like, don't respond. They'll take your change away. Yeah, in Trotro, you give the mate 100 cedi and the mate say yes, 100 cedi. He's asking for his calling your name so that you respond, then he will give you your change. So they are mentioning his name by is it 700 whatever. It's just a disgrace. He should just come back and account. What is accounting? A basic law will tell you that what accounting and auditing moves together. Asking you come and account, and you are running away from one state to the other. And this thing about US taking decision not to grant immigrant visa to Ghana. In any case, look at this government. Right now, the Statistical Service is telling us that what the government has lifted more than 100 people from poverty in 2025. So if US decide not to grant immigrant visa to Ghana, why should we care? In any case, they are giving visa to Ghanaians to travel to US every day and come back. So if you are talking about immigrant visa and government is developing the country to make sure that other people will travel to your country and come and work, what are you talking about the US not granting immigrant visa? And then look at what we are doing. What we are doing for our own country is to make sure that other people travel here. We ourselves will remain here and be able to work and develop our country.
Ghana for Ghanaians.
Yes.
US for US.
Yes. So if US says they cancel a certain category of visa, how does that one affect us? If our country is developed and we can stay here and work, that is what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is doing, to make sure that we have the big push agenda, to make sure that what now he is saying that every location now in this country is what? It's a construction site. So we are building a nation. So what we are calling upon NPP to do is to make sure that what they help us build a nation by protecting our laws. We all have a duty to make sure that we make our laws work by respecting the laws. If we respect the law will better protect all of us. If as an accused person, you decide not to obey the law or to respect the law will also not respect you. And this extradition request is not political. He's saying ENOCH was saying that it's political. What is political about OSP? That means they are saying that they themselves they don't believe in the OSP that their own president appointed. This OSP was not appointed by President Mahama. OSP started this investigation before President Mahama came to power. So how can you say the extradition request that has come about from the OSP's investigation is now a handiwork of the government? In any case, it's only the Attorney General that can help to push this. You see, if you are talking about extradition, the Attorney General,
last point, so I go to Powers.
The Attorney General has his own bit to do, and also the Justice Department of the US have their own bit to do. The Justice Department of the US is the one now that is going to push the agenda of Ghana to make sure that they bring Ken to us, which is what they are doing. So what we expect the NPP to do right now is to help us that, we are all patriots. We want to make sure that what Ken is repatriated back to Ghana to come and account to all of us. Are you saying that you don't want accountability?
Noted. Powers, there's a bit of a gap that I seem not to understand. AFOAKWAH mentioned it. Nelson also mentioned it, that there's public records to show that on 2nd January 2025, Ken Ofori-Atta wrote to the then Chief of Staff that he was traveling for some medical treatment at the Mayo, whatever it is. Clinic, yeah. But recently when the visa immigration issues came, it was indicated that he entered the US in July. So between the January to July, where was he?
So he may have left. Don't forget that when public conversation around this particular topic emerged, there was an indication that he could move from US to UK and other states, other countries. So clearly, and the Attorney General even indicated that he has other visas.
Yes.
So obviously, when he went to America, he left to another country.
Which goes to confirm the point that Nelson was saying, that movement then was not a challenge. Because if he could move from America to UK, then equally he could have come to Ghana.
It's a fair comment. But the thing is that I think Nelson has to understand that sometimes the optics matters. And I have indicated that the prosecutorial pushes of both the Attorney General and the OSP will not help matters. Because the way they carry themselves and public commentaries on this matter, in fact, they amounted to prejudgment. I have had my own issues with that. But what happened? You get the Attorney General's insert that you played a while ago. In fact, indicates a clear U-turn being beaten by the Attorney General. You remember you read his comment on Newsfire,
yes,
where he indicated that, in fact, the revocation of Ken's visa he suggested that the revocation of Ken's visa
was as a result
of the work he had done.
Yes.
And I have said that it is not true. They should not be appearing as though the revocation of Ken's visa has something to do with the extradition or whatever he doesn't. The thing is that Ken's visa revocation is as part of a larger revocation, about 100,000 visas of over 100,000 immigrants, which were revoked in 2025. In fact, the United States Department of State report indicated that. So it has nothing to do with the extradition process that we initiated. In fact, the Attorney General himself indicated to us that it was somewhere in the early part of December 2025 that he formally submitted, but even the submission was rather through our Foreign Affairs, because he could not have submitted it directly to the Attorney General. So he submitted it to our Foreign Affairs. So that date was submitted to our Foreign Affairs for subsequent transmission to the U.S. Attorney Office. So, it is a clear U-turn. And the inside you played, he said, oh, the case before the immigration judge has nothing to do with the extradition process. That is the position. We relax. But the message must be that the revocation has nothing to do with the extradition process or whatever the Attorney General may have done. So that suggestion was misleading. And I have indicated that this government element and spokespersons of this government should be careful. Don't benefit of something you have not done. Rather, the work of ICE may expedite the extradition process. That is where I come to where, Noble, you are more particularly interested in. You remember when Ken appeared before the immigration judge, and before the immigration, and ENOCH were articulated that Ken's appearance was to get a second chance or second shot at getting a bail or getting bail. Yeah. That's a bail bond.
The bond. So
he wants to be released. In other words, he wants to go home so that whenever he is summoned by the court, he will appear instead of still remaining in the detention facility. The extradition process will impact the decision of the judge. Don't forget, when they invoke the extradition process, what it means is that wherever you are, they will come and arrest you first.
Yes.
And detain you.
So if they already have you?
Now, I think this is a fine opportunity for our AG or for the U.S. Attorney General's office to expedite the extradition process. This is a fine opportunity because already Ken is in detention. Do you understand? Yes. So this is like killing two birds with one stone. So whilst he's facing the immigration issues, you could also sneak in, and that's what they are doing. They are trying to sneak in the extradition process so that Ken will now be facing two separate, different, distinct issues altogether. So I think the extradition request or the documents, the processes that the judge made, or the direction for, or is ordered that the extradition process be forwarded or filed appropriately, will rather help the extradition process, and it will help the Attorney General so that they will fast track the process. But it's not going to be an overnight process. Right. It will take a while because even with the immigration issues, they are yet to start the substantive matter. They are yet to start.
Yes.
So I think maybe they will do that simultaneously. I don't know how they will go about it.
It is as a result of the bail application that the state attorneys objected.
Yes, and they sneak in the extradition process.
It's not a sneaking. That the judge wants to see a formal notice, evidence, something that he has been requested of to be extradited to Ghana. Exactly. That is all. No. You see, the charge sheet upon which he's before the court is different. You are aware that once the summons before the court is not in respect of extradition, the court cannot proceed on that.
Yes. But the thing is that, the attorney are opposing the bail bond. Do you understand? So whatever process they have before them, which will authenticate or which will even make their case, which will help them to make their case, they will do it. That's what they are doing. So that's what I'm saying, that they are using the extradition process to influence the decision of the judge on the immigration bail bond. And for me, looking at, in fact, speaking from where I sit, I think the judge may decline or may deny Ken the bond. Yes, from looking at where, because if the U.S. attorney is able to, or the office is able to forward the extradition process to the court
Before
before we will not release Ken, and that will help the extradition process that we have before the U.S. attorney. So for me, looking at the optics and looking at the legal regime, I think it is good for Ghana. It is good for Ghana. I would say that the Attorney General should continue to engage with his counterpart in the U.S.
Right.
Because this is a fine opportunity for us to expedite this process. Don't forget that said in the Tamaklo's case took nearly 2 years before she was even arrested by the U.S. Marshal this month. But if we have Ken already in detention, it is a fine opportunity to start the extradition process.
Thank you. Kwame, there's a school of thought that says that the picketing at the U.S. Embassy can unmake the case for Ghana if Ken decides to use that as an indication of the hostile treatment he would get if he comes, and so granting some form of whatever it is, getting to asylum. Some asylum there. I don't know what your view. I mean, again, from the accountability point of view.
Yeah, I think I've a demonstration that appears to be very, to create a semblance of political persecution. The reason being that the basis upon which it appears Ken and his team are fighting his extradition is because he fears political persecution. And the argument has been far advanced, and I think even in the analysis of AFOAKWAH, he quietly intimated that if you look at the bail applications and the discretion being exercised by the judges, it's one that creates the impression that we are prejudging people before judgment. And so on the basis of that, I would have thought that no matter the sentimental attachments that we have relative to Ofori-Atta's matter, all the parties involved, whether civil society organizations, whether state institutions that are involved in this matter should have conducted themselves in a manner that will not create the impression that we are seeking to persecute Ken Ofori-Atta. So I am not for that. And I think I am on record to have said it on this show, that, on Wednesday's program, that I don't fully support that picketing or that demonstration. It is a right that everybody have, but that right must be exercised for the benefit of justice, not for the benefit of creating some semblance of political persecution. So to this end, there would be just that argument being advanced that we said it, that these people, whatever it is, they are violating flagrantly Article 14 and 19 of the Constitution. Because even before my return to the country, they have sort of condemned me. So rule of law will not be feathered. Rule of law is predicated on two stills: predictability and certainty. And once people have issues with predictability, once people have issues with certainty, then obviously they will have an issue. Lord Dennis says something. He says justice is rooted in confidence. And confidence is destroyed when people leave the courtroom thinking judges were biased. And on this occasion, it has been evidently axiomatic that based on the conduct of this whole exercise, that people are of the firm conviction that justice may not be served. And for me, that is where I have an issue. And I think I'm on record to also have issued a statement in relation to bail application and how it appears, within this particular period, we are exercising the discretion, enshrined in the 296, of the Constitution, discretion. And when I was sitting here and I was very quiet, I was actually reading, because it is not clear what fairness is. It is not clear what, not being arbitrary is. It is not clear. So all of us can sit here and conjecture as to what fairness is, because that is in the bosom of the judge to determine. No, who interpreted it? Yeah, but the interpretation is not clear still. I'm telling you, it needs further clarification. Because you see, when you were sitting here, you were AFOAKWAH was talking about how they are also going to take advantage of the discretion.
The president is there.
And that based on the president being said by the NDC, in the event that power changes hands, they are also going to make sure that they do the same thing.
Power is not changing now.
No, Master, no, don't say these things, so please. Don't say these things. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't want us to get to the point where, and you see, unfortunately, Powers is my friend. I can go to the police station and say that Powers has stolen money. Powers will be arrested, and he has to be granted bail. Whether or not he's committed an offense, it is between me and my God. But I can go and lie that Powers has stolen. Yeah. And he has to be granted bail. Then if I'm friends with some judge or I know some people, I can go and tell them that, Master, this guy want to mafia him. Then they will now put a bail condition that is
produce your dead mother.
Produce your dead mother. Then it will be difficult to now meet the bill.
No, where you said when you are friends with a judge, you can. Let's not create.
Oh no. I'm making a point. No, you see, let examples.
No. Let's not.
Professor ATEKU, but hold on. What are you talking about? We know that there's judicial bias. We know there's judicial bias. What are you talking about? Why is it that in some matters, judges are asked to recuse themselves?
He knows what will happen.
No, my brother, please.
It's about the procedure, not the judge.
My brother.
Let's not create the impression.
Professor ATEKU, I don't know whether you read his recent article. His recent article points to the fact that he has doubts about the conduct of some judges. Okay? That he said that judges must not forget that there are mini gods or demigods on earth. And that they play God. The very moment they forget that, yes, he said it. Why would he say it?
When I did that in case in respect of application of some news on Woes TV, and you remember the Animal Farm judge? What was his?
So
his
please.
reasoning?
So KOJO, the point I'm making is that there's that fear, right? So something has to happen. One must have conversations about the bill application, conditions, discretion, and the exercise of same in respect of bail applications. That being said, I have always maintained in respect of Ofori-Atta's matter that whether their extradition application will go through or not, it's a matter of law. All of us seated here, even though we are lawyers, some of it, the decision of the judge is sui generis. It is to him how he may look at the evidence available, how the weight, the probative value that he will place on the evidence available is what will lead to that final determination as to whether he must be extradited or not. Even in relation to the immigration matter, it is a matter of law. The judge may well say that, look, the bail application or the bond application that is before me, I will grant it, albeit that there's an extradition process that may be triggered. These are all matters of law. And once a matter is sub judice, I do not want to sit here and comment on same, even though I'm in Ghana. But international law also operates in relation to this matter. And in terms of the position of some members of the MPP, which I find very troubling, I want to state that when somebody has been given an opportunity and a privilege to serve the good people of this country, they are enjoined by the Constitution to account for their stewardship. That there's a constitutional provision, albeit not so explicit, but inherent in that provision is the presumption of truth that once you exit, you must account. And that is why we have accountability institutions in this country that are clothed with the authority to ensure that people account. SHRAD is one of them. IOCO is one of them. OSP is one of them. So to the extent that we have all these institutions, it stands to reason that the Constitution predicts that some people may violate that very fundamental provision, which is Article 35(8). And therefore, these institutions must ensure that people account to the good people of this country. Or otherwise, anybody at all who has been given an opportunity to serve will come and steal from the people, will misuse public funds, for their own parochial interests, and then they will exit. Nobody would have a problem with it. And that, for me, is what I find troubling. Also, I am of the firm conviction that if Ken Ofori-Atta indeed wanted to subject even the involvement, if you like, of some of the other state institutions, he would have, by himself, subjected, himself to the process of accountability. I know you are in a hurry. Let me conclude then for you. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because when the NPP was still in office, a letter was written to the then Chief of Staff, indicative that he wanted to seek medical attention. That is not in doubt. The letter indicated exactly where he was going to seek that medical attention. That is not in doubt. That even though he left Ghana in January, between January, it was in July that what happened.
The immigration said yes.
Exactly. So what it means is that between the January and the July, where was he? It tells you clearly that the extension of invitation was definitely not before July. I mean, it was definitely before July. And that if he was not present in the United States of America, right, before July, where was he? He would have availed himself between January and before July. And let me also state on record that this thing about the bail condition, albeit a very important matter in our jurisprudence, okay, was not a subject matter when an invitation was extended to the Office of the Special Prosecutor to come and account for his stewardship. The issue of Wuntumi and the NSB boss were later matters. So we cannot, on the basis of the bail conditions which have been heaped on the heads of these people, come to this erroneous conclusion that Ken would have been subjected to see. Indeed,
fair.
Ken Ofori-Atta is somebody who has a lot of questions to answer. And I want to believe that if he really wanted to, he would have said that, oh, OSP, you are inviting me on this day. Okay, I will come on this day. Then demonstrate willingness even before the date, expires. He comes to Ghana maybe 2 weeks before. Oh, OSP, I'm in Ghana. Oh, when can I come? OSP, okay, let me give you all the documents you need. Even Ghanaians would have made a point. And I said, the way he's even willing to support the process. Right. But the way he conducted himself, the way he got his lawyers to even, sort of fight the system is indicative of his unwillingness to subject himself to accountability. And for me, that is very problematic.
Thank you. AFOAKWAH, I have 5 minutes to close. Yeah, sure. No, hold on. I have 5 minutes to close. I have one last topic. Fortunately for me, it's an MPP topic.
No, I'll visit this one.
You don't want the MPP topic?
No, I'll visit this one.
Let him discuss the MPP topic.
There's an MPP topic.
It's your discretion.
There are some assertions that have been made on your platform, and this is a national platform.
I understand. It has been a national platform from the moment you started talking about somebody's wife. So it's been a national platform. It just didn't become a national platform. Yes. So let me.
It's notorious in nature.
So within the week, your party had. Exactly a week today, you are going to the to the booth to go vote for the elections 2028. So and then you signed a peace pact. What almost turned out not to be a peace pact. 2 minutes. You can decide to use the 2 minutes to address him. When these 2 minutes, I'll stop you and move to the next person.
No problem. You gave KWAME 20 minutes, but
that was I gave you 20 minutes first for the first round. That was the same thing. Before I went to Jalilu.
13.
No. I gave you 20. I timed myself.
I was timing.
No, already. I timed him 30 seconds ago. So he's 1 minute 30 seconds now.
Let me. Nelson stated that the issue of Ken reveals that the NPP does not respect the laws of Ghana. The issue of Ken reveals of Ghana. The NPP is a body corporate established by law, and we are law-abiding members of the New Patriotic Party. If that is his assumption or his interpretation of a personal matter with Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, then I will also suggest that the NDC does not respect the laws of the Republic of Ghana. Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because Madam Sedinam Tamakulu, the former Chief Executive Officer of Maslock, who has been convicted and sentenced, now a fugitive of justice, is a member of the NDC, hiding somewhere in the United States of America. A court of competent jurisdiction has pronounced judgment on her matter that she appropriated funds belonging to the Republic of Ghana. And Nelson is here telling us that the alleged offense that the AG is postulating that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta has committed. And if it is so, crime is committed in persona. He's a lawyer, he must understand it. Crime is committed in persona. Be saying some of these things. Again,
30 seconds more.
He mentions that Mr. Ofori-Atta gave an address, indicated that he needs approval to travel to the United States of America, to Rochester, Minnesota, USA. There was no indication of any address. And moreover, he's an ordinary resident in the United States of America. And if in any case, he has a right to change residence or to change locations. Even in Ghana. No,
to be fair, he didn't say residential address.
He said he changed his address.
Yes.
What is address? Is it a post office box?
No, the address was the money.
Or is it a residence?
He said he gave a Mayo Clinic.
In the letter, I'm quoting from the letter of dated 2nd January 2025, where Mr. Ofori-Atta indicated that he was going to seek medical care and he will be in Rochester, Minnesota, USA. And he mentioned Mayo Clinic. That is paragraph 3 of the letter. The indication, where does he state any address?
Okay.
So, is it not a notorious fact that he's in America?
Okay. So
has he run away from America?
So,
you see, we should not.
I'm taking it you don't want to talk about the MPP.
We should not
Dr.
be saying
Jalilu.
some of these things. And there is no law that ensures that an accused person or a suspect, in any case, he's not even an accused person, has any summons been served on him per the orders of the court. Granted, has any summons been served on him? If not, then he's not properly summoned before the court. So why do you describe him as an accused person?
Okay. An accused person at large.
Dr. Jalilu,
we are lawyers and we must behave, so we should not be doing politics.
Thank you.
If the NDC is minded, they should bring down the fugitive of justice. Madam said Natamaklu.
Today you are not being your normal self. Today you have been extremely distractive today. I don't know what happened. Is it that you've not drank anything?
I take clear.
Doc said that we should continue.
No, we say I've been distractive.
No, but Enoch, today you have not been your normal self.
KOJO, that's one I will not take that.
I
will not take that.
Dr. Jalilu.
I will not take that.
Doc, next week the MPP is going to the polls. They signed a peace pact within the week for the flag bearers. I mean, even at that point, we saw on the face of Dr. Mahmoud Amoya that he was not happy. Samuel Uku came back to indicate why he was not. Ken also, I think yesterday or the day before, also came to explain that there were some issues with some clauses. From a political science point of view, are we okay for 31st, looking at what is happening just a week to the time?
Well, thank you very much. I think in my view, it was unnecessary to have such a peace pact, and not only even what the MPP is doing, even nationally. I think that 2 electoral cycles we've had similar peace pact. One thing is that it's like we are blessed impunity and attention for that. Why do I say so? MPP is a political party, right? And political parties are established and governed by law. There's a political parties law 574, military regime, and all actors are supposed to conduct themselves within that. The MPP has a mechanism to resolve conflict and all that, right? But so if you look at it, I mean, you waited after all the 5 or so months campaigning, the mass slinging, the disrespect, the insult, and all that. All these things happen without, I mean, nobody being questioned by the party and all that. Now it's just about 10 days, and then you are asking them to come and sign a peace pact, hoping that, I mean, it will succeed. And this, I mean, settlement entails 3 important things: the decision of the parties, the implementation of the peace agreement, uncertainty, and very complex, and all the fear that at the end of the day, maybe people might decide that they will not be maybe if they lose, they will not be. I mean, they may decide that maybe I'm going to my own party and whatnot, and that can come with some colossal damage to the MPP. I think that what is important at that point in time is to ensure that they will have free and fair elections. And normally, free and fair elections start long time. When you started the campaigning until you don't wait when it is just about 10 days before you. I mean, they did it in November 2023.
We need to go.
And then
So
they are repeating.
Thank you.
For me, the most important thing is that they must, at point in time, ensure that they allow their constitution to work. Violating it, they punish it, but they are unable to, because one, if you look at it, some of the, it is expected that the representatives of the
so maybe across the room, just 30 seconds just to wish whatever you have for the next, just 30 seconds. So this one is not a long speech, so let me start with you for what MPP is doing next week Saturday.
Yeah, going.
Powers.
They will be strong after.
The peace pact may have some consequences, but if you have issues after the election, you can challenge it.
Thank you. Kwame?
The peace pact is meaningless until it is linked up completely with free and fair election.
Thank you. AFOAKWAH, even though you don't take the first one.
The NPP will come out stronger and bigger after 31st of January 2026.
Right. So thank you very much, viewers. Next week we'll be here. We'll be telecasting and showing you live feed from the various. We'll try and have an extended session next week to discuss a lot of issues in here. So please stay tuned and be as faithful as you have been. From the panel and myself and my technical team, wish you a best of weekend. Enjoy your weekend and see you next week Saturday.